3, 2, 1.
Light them up.
I'm Paul.
This is Buck.
This is the Paul and Buck Show.
Hey, the big Buckin deal. Hear us. Download the latest app at paulandbuckshow.podbean.com.
And we're back. This is another recording we've got going on. And this time we have Greg Wright.
We have two.
We have two guys sitting in. It's father and son. Are y'all a team or y'all just independent? Y'all just do y'all's own thing?
I help him every now and then, but I'm too old now to go racing again.
This is one of those shows that I was kind of waiting to
If you're out 5 in the morning, I'm either doing drugs or chasing pussy. I'm not doing racing.
Straight up, buddy.
So basically what we do is we start the first some of the first questions. I mean, we really don't have nothing scripted here. We just, how did you get into drag racing, Greg? And what was it like before? What when you were in school?
I didn't race in school.
What got you? You
didn't race in school?
I didn't start racing until I was 21.
No.
My grandparents lived in Waco, Texas, and there was a big racing scene there. And I got a car from a across the street neighbor from my grandparents, and it was a '66 Chevelle. It had a 396 with a 4-speed in it with a 12 bolt, and I bought it, painted it midnight blue, bought a 427 with aluminum heads, put it in the car with a 4-speed, and that was the beginning of my deal in 1976. I started racing.
In Waco or here in Austin?
Waco, Spiegelville was where they raced.
How was the racing scene there?
How was it?
How was the weather? Yeah.
Oh, they raced all the time. There was a bunch of big names. The guy that owns the track in Dallas had a Camaro. I can't think of his name. Enos.
Okay.
His dad owned some big corporation, and he had a Camaro back then. And I got hooked, and I came to Austin and started racing in Austin.
About what time was that? About
76.
Okay.
And I met Mike Kelly, Butch Lake, the Reaper. I don't know if y'all remember him. He had a funny car. Daryl Ehrlich, Bobby Denning, and we started racing, and I started racing people. There was a CUDA back then.
Where were you guys racing back then? I
heard there was a place over towards the back then it was the Air Force base.
At Bergstrom?
Bergstrom. But there was a little pizza place.
Yeah.
And we hung out this pizza place, and we either ran over off of 969 or Platte Lane. Or Mustang Ridge.
I lived down the street.
So we raced there, and but we weren't racing at Decker yet. And then someone was racing at Decker, and we started. Harvey Wallbanger said, "Well, we're going to go to Decker." I'd never been there, and he beat me that night. And then Mike Kelly beat him in the '56, and Harvey had a Camaro, and Harvey beat me in my Chevelle. And that was in '76 when I got started, and then I raced. I traded my '66 Chevelle to Ralph Cantwell, and he had a white Nova. So we just swapped cars and swapped everything.
Right there. Like around the early '80s.
That was before that, 78ish.
Yeah, but during that time is when I moved out to Del Valley, and there was a reputation about a little white Nova on the streets. Yeah. Well, and the reason why I knew that is because one of my neighbors, they had a gold 67, 68 Camaro back then on center lines, and it was supposed to be some neat stuff. They had like a trucking company or something like that, and so they had a motor built by Joe White.
Let's see, Joe White built the motor's in 55 now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So
what was their names? You can't remember?
I think it was.
I probably know, and I know the car.
I think the guy went by Kiki or something, Rodriguez.
They were from the east side?
Yeah, east side.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, we started, after that, we had a really big hangout at a couple of places. Yeah. Do you know where the theater is on Ben White? The Southwood? Well, right across the street, there was like a tire truck place. Well, we started hanging out there. Yeah. And we were racing when we left there. We just go to Decker because then I'd just go home.
Yeah.
But we used to meet there. We met at the Kmart over off 183 in Lamar area for years.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
And I started getting really known real well and started beating everybody. And they would come.
And for you guys who are listening, this is what you call this is the South Austin hangout. These are the South Austin people. This is what you're hearing right here, South Austin. There was a lot of drag racing back then, and this is one of the guys here. You know, I was telling you the story.
I forgot.
Yeah.
You know where Crockett High School is?
Yeah.
Right across the street. Whatever that little road is. There was a strip mall there.
Yeah.
That's where my '66 Chevelle. We first started hanging out. Really after we left the place. I don't remember. That road there is what we used to call it.
It's Manchac?
No, it was Crockett.
Crockett High School.
Yeah.
Across the street, there's a fish place, and then there was a place where we hung out there for a long time in the early '70s. And I had my Chevelle, but when I got my white Nova, we started moving around a whole lot more because of cops and stuff. But yeah, I think I traded with Ralph. It must have been '78, '79, and then after that, I had the white Nova,
and that one got, it had a reputation. I remember
it went 1137 on the street tires because we didn't have the cheaters like we got. They're called Pro Tracks.
Pro Tracks, that's what we're talking about.
Coming back.
Hold on. There's been 2 episodes.
So hold on.
I
went because I had a big block. I went 1137, and I don't remember the mile per hour, but it set the track record. But then this guy had this frame with a big block in it. Can't think of his name. I think it might have been Brad. We called it the Italian Roadster. It was just a motor, a frame, and a seat. You know him if you think about it.
Yeah.
And he broke the record and went 1120 something.
Well, but it was stripped down.
But I don't go to the track a whole lot because I'd gone a couple of times in my Chevelle and I broke an axle, and so Harvey Wallbanger and all of us had to come back and put it on the trailer. And I was like, I'm street racing. But I had gone a couple. I very rarely went to the track.
Yeah.
But I went to the track, set that record. He came back the next weekend. They had the street races back then at the track in the early 80s. And I can't call it the Italian Roaster, and he beat my record. And then I got, we'll back up a minute. So Fat Pat, the River Rat, we called him.
River Rat.
He bought, in 1977 or 76, he bought the first nitrous system that I knew of.
I've heard, I keep
it was called a Marvin Miller.
There
was no jets.
I got a picture of it.
They just 2 solenoids.
It's hanging in a fucking.
We have it as a memorial at John Tinkle's shop.
This is the first nitrous set up in Austin.
So it had no jets.
Toots got it.
No jets. It's just 2 solenoids.
Just fuel pressure or something.
So I put it on my Nova. So it had to be closer to the late 80s. I got it. I was the second one to have nitrous, and then of course. I sprayed. I had nitrous, and then everybody started getting the next nitrous system. Marvin Miller wasn't that popular. The one that everybody had the T-shirts.
NOS or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I moved up and got an NOS and got just like a plate and did a cheater.
Yeah.
I didn't even have the big shot back
Everybody
then.
had the cheater, shirt.
And but yes, Fat Pat was the first person that I knew of, and I knew everybody in the racing back then. I mean, it was a small community.
Austin's like a quarter of.
Yeah, this is we're talking.
Everybody knew everybody, and everybody. So there was turned out after a long time to move down that me and this yellow Camaro his name was Bubba. We called him Bubba Likes It.
Yeah.
We're about the only two.
The doors were just shells. I seen him one time.
Well, it turned out me and him would almost race all the time.
Yeah.
And I'd beaten everybody. And then this is before Daisy Duke's known. Early 80s. Before, and we were hanging out at the Kmart. And so they brought out, I can't think of his name, but him and his brother brought out the car on a trailer. They came back from the river, a race car. So I ran them, and then they all wanted to fight after I beat them. and then Gary Kaderka got a white Nova because I had one.
And I confused yours and his because they looked similar.
Right, he did that on purpose. He kind of wanted to be like Greg. Yeah, everybody go, oh, is that the white Nova? And I go, no, that's Gary's car.
Yeah.
I'm Greg Wright. And then he got that, and then it was fight a race because he'd run with Skeeter, Little Roy, and then we fought a bunch. We raced a bunch, and it got really, it was like, that's when we started going to that place in South Austin across from the theater to get away from them. Because they were hanging out at the Safeway on Lamar.
Okay.
We used to hang out there after we got ran off from the Kmart. We hung out at the Safeway. That was like Lamar and a really bad neighborhood.
Somebody tried to resurrect that little hangout. It didn't work out.
Well, we went out south, and then they finally found us. So it was fun to fight a race again, and then after that, I was in a motorcycle wreck and broke my leg.
Oh no!
And then I bought the 55 from Lee Dykes.
So
83.
So that was,
88,
was that the
1983.
same wreck that Lee Dyke was?
No, I can tell you
had
that
another
story. Would
problem
you like
like
to
that.
hear that?
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
time. What happened to him? All of a sudden he's
Okay.
you know, he's limping and we just know that
Bill
something-
Colley had a house right off of Decker Lane.
Yeah.
We would go. I mean, it was you
Like
pulled
y'all-
out and you went and you raced and you went back to his house.
He went back to his house.
He had a 66 or
driveway
67
once.
Nova
Yeah.
down by the church.
That's hard to beat.
I know you can't beat that
No,
shit.
we actually parked there and let the cops.
So he bought a 67 Nova,
Yeah.
and him and I can't think of the guy's name he was racing. Were racing. Lee had some chick I think on the back of his bike, and when they finished racing, Lee was with the chick, and
cut him.
Bill was going to turn around to come back, and he hit him, and they flighted them both out,
Wow.
and that's the story on that.
And that's why you stopped racing motorcycles or something.
Well, yeah,
Shit.
but the guy that was riding with him lost his leg. It was a guy, and I can't think of his name either.
Wow, really?
Lost his leg, and he was riding on the back with Lee, so he lost his leg. They helicoptered him out.
Yeah.
We all went back to Bill's house, and Bill's slamming on his car, and he's all mad. And it's big old dent. And he just got the car. It was a nice '67 Nova with a small block in it with nitrous. It ran really good. But that's how that happened, and that was about the end of Lee racing. We raced one time, me and him. We raced at the river, and I beat him. He had problems, and then he raced Mike Carter. I don't know if you remember him. He had a '56 Chevy that was on the back of the trailer one time, and they put it too far forward, and Tiny was driving it and started doing this and went off into the ditch and totaled it. Then he got a Nova, a red Nova. I don't remember Mike Carter. It's before the two.
Yeah.
So let me put this in here. So you're one of the fastest guys left standing in early 2000. Lee Dyke is one of the last fastest guys in the early 90s.
Steve was faster.
Well,
than me.
Steve was in the middle. I remember Steve with this Camaro,
Right.
and he's just gonna have to come on and tell his story because I'm not about to leak anything from Steve. But you guys, the last races went on, and we'll get into it here in a little bit. You had the 55 Chevy, but so prior to that, you're still with your Nova in the 80s. Lee. He doesn't have the car that he's known for.
He had the Nova then in the 80s.
But it was
he did.
red.
It was like pink
red.
or purple.
It
or
was
what
purple
was it?
red. It was
Something.
real bright
so he
purple
did
red.
Well,
Okay.
I'll put it so that everybody can understand. So he paints his car. It's a red car. There's a video out on YouTube. It's red, and then he puts he goes to a paint shop or something, and he gets a lot of pearl put into it, and so it ends up turning like a hot pink.
Right.
And they call it the Punisher Nova. He's got a little airbrush on his trunk, and then somebody says the color of that is called Callidius red.
Yes.
So
He didn't
they're
like
on
that,
there.
huh?
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if
lovely.
he liked it or not. I don't know if it was him, but
You got to name it.
Well, I know when he got rid of it.
Yeah.
He raced Mike Carter out on 969 or Platte Lane. I can't remember. I was there. Real narrow road. I mean, narrow. And real shitty road. We wouldn't rain on them down.
What road was not shitty?
But anyway, Mike Carter out running, but Lee's fan came off or somehow went into the radiator, and I don't think he really raced on the street after that I know of. I think they went out and raced some squirrels sometimes that they had easy money, but Lee would never come out and run the fastest cars.
Is that right?
I don't think he ever ran Bubba, and if he did, I don't know. I know we ran at the track finally, and he had problems, and I beat him. And let's go back to Steve.
Yeah.
I beat Steve that night out in Manchac.
This is in the 90s.
In the 55.
Yeah.
You're right. I had the motor out of a Nova I bought from Lee in it, 383, and I beat him. The only reason I beat him, I think, was him and Brad were doing, I don't know if you remember this, they were doing that.
Playing Legos, yeah.
And then I never beat him after that.
Yeah.
So he'd always beat me. And then we went to the track to run, and we were going to run for $100. So I put
$100.
I put a
$100.
plate
That's a lot
on.
of money.
I put a cheater plate and a big shot first, and then a
Stacked it.
cheater on it. And I had a button here,
Yeah.
and it had a deal on your carburetor. What's it
Yeah,
called?
wide open throttle switch.
A wide open
Yeah.
throttle switch.
Yeah.
So what do I do on the start line? I hit it all, and it goes kaboom! And so the carburetors, the flames went. I mean, if someone had took a picture,
Yeah.
the flames flying
There's a
out.
V-
All the people were
VHS.
impressed.
Motor.
No, I had my 55
Oh,
then.
okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And I had the motor that
Yeah.
Joe White built.
So okay. So
My car still has the cast iron heads on it.
okay.
That's all I've ever had.
So all right.
That's no bullshit.
So you got the
That's all I've
Nova.
ever-
How do you come? So this is all throughout the '80s and then early '90s. I see you at 6th Street. Down we're hanging out hanging out. You show up with John Dinkle. You have a '55 Chevy. John has his Fairmont.
Yeah, Fairmont back.
Yeah, Fairmont.
I mean, I see that car. I see your car, and I'm like, well, man, is that American Graffiti? I mean, it look just like it. How do you come into that car? This is a Lee Dyke car,
right? I bought it from Lee Dykes for $4,000.
You said in '83, right?
'84. I wrecked in '83
Okay.
of May 8th, and then I got a settlement of $25,000 minus what the lawyer took. But that was a lot of money back then in the '80s. So I bought that for $4,000. He had a Target Master motor. He had a Target Master motor. You know what that is? A 350 rebuilt. You know.
Yeah.
And I put it in a 55.
Yeah.
And it had a turbo 400, and I just drove it around. Well, I bought a '67 Camaro, same year, '84, and I put the Target Master motor in the Camaro, and that was my daily driver until 2006. I drove that car from '84 to 2006. Had over 400,000 miles on it.
Wow.
You could take it and do this.
Am
I lying? Am I lying?
It was leaked everywhere.
Anyway, and it did. Hold on.
Been in a lot of races with that motor lately, right?
No.
Hold on. So Lee had a motor that Joe White had built with cast iron heads.
Yeah.
It was a 406 cubic inch small block, cast iron heads, aluminum, and I put the cheater plate on it. This is before I raced Steve. Put the cheater plate on it, and I'm starting to come out. We were hanging out on 6th Street, and that's when I got it. And I retired the Nova and sold it to a tit bar girl that lived in Houston, and her brother.
Nice.
And the 55 goes on racing.
It still has the same motor, the 406 that Joe White built. David Wolf rebuilt it.
Yeah.
He blew it up once, and my nephew, who's dead now, blew it up the second time. And David Wolf rebuilt it twice, but it still has cast iron head. Am I lying?
Is that right?
That motor's stuck in the '80s.
Yeah, I had a Mustang that did, around that time, and
that's nice.
That was like the shit. If you had dark cast iron heads,
They are not even. Yeah, they are dark twos. You're right.
Dark,
They were
yeah,
dark
dark twos.
Yeah, well, I had the Windsor Junior.
They were nice. I mean, there was nice.
Well, the thing about them is they're
workable.
unforgiving and getting hot. I mean,
No.
you're driving in Texas, and aluminum heads. You had to be. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're gonna swell up. They're gonna shrink. You're gonna have problems. But
start pumping water. So
start throwing water out, pushing.
Well, that's the story on that.
Well, and then later on, so racing kind of goes down a little bit.
In the 80s, go ahead.
Well, no, this is like in the mid-late 90s. But I hear that you're actually going out to Houston. This is what the big
That's in the 2000s.
In the 2000s,
Yes.
okay.
Track
So
or street?
Track.
Street and track.
We went.
There's a lot of street going
This
on.
is
over there.
2000. You skipped the whole 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, at what time? At what point do you go to Houston though? In your 55?
Okay, so what happened in the 90s? I started playing in a band in the early 80s, late 80s, and early 90s. So I was playing a lot. Racing kind of just died off in the late 80s and the early 90s. There was no racing hardly.
Right. Yeah.
Well, then I went up to super shops. Someone told me about it, and they're all out there. And I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
I'm
where have they all been? Where you fuckers been?
Yeah.
And then I find out the fucking roll racing. Thomas.
Oh,
what
there
was
it
the
is.
other guy with
There's
the
a lot of
Mustang?
shit going
The
on.
Mustang
Ralph?
kid. No, the other kid.
Donnie?
Thomas with the Mustang that was real fast that beat everybody roll racing.
There's Thomas.
Thomas, and
I
it's
don't know
Thomas's
the other-
friend. He had a Mustang.
Oh fuck.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know.
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Y'all remember Jeremy?
Oh, I heard his name.
I wrote him
Like
down.
that darn here.
No, I need that.
Let's hear this. You hear that? That's
Yeah.
that's,
Okay. I heard the name.
So in the 90s,
Yeah.
we picked back up.
that was
but I'm
roll
still
racing
playing
shit.
in music.
Yeah, your band.
And so finally,
What is the name of your band? Called?
back then it was called Armed and Ready.
Okay,
Now I'm in a band called Austin Knights.
there you go.
Anyway, so I figured out they're gonna roll race.
Yeah.
Well, I'd never roll
What
race in
the
my
hell?
life.
Yeah. What the hell is
And I
that?
go put my slicks on, and we go. He's with me. We go run
Shut up, really?
Thomas or Jeremy.
We
One of
ran
them.
Jeremy.
Yeah, and
go
out
find
on
out what a roll
360.
race is,
We go to
alright.
360.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, 360.
I'm in first gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I go. I hit it. Goes kapoom, pop, and Jeremy goes. Phew. So and I'm like, but he wouldn't run me again.
Yeah.
He would never run me again because I figured I never road race, so he got me perfectly.
Yeah.
He was sitting with me. I think when we run, you were over to the side.
Yeah, Jeremy was in like a gutted Fox body. They couldn't.
It flew. Nobody could beat him.
Yeah.
Nobody was drag racing or did.
Yeah,
they're
they
all
all
roll
roll
racing.
shit. Yeah.
So we were hanging out then in the 90s, and then when the show came out, Fast and Furious, 2001.
wow.
Hold on.
That's
hold
2001 or something. Yeah.
That killed street racing because that's when Austin made the law. They would take your car away.
That's what we talked about.
That killed street racing for me. I didn't want them to take my car, and I was kind of like, fuck it. So I bought a Nova from Daryl Ehrlich.
Yeah.
I mean, not from Daryl Ehrlich, from Destructo. From Destructo. And me and John Dinkle built it, and we raced in the FSTA, and cars were running like 530s and 550s back then. That was 2003, 2004, 2006. I won the championship, and then I hit the wall at Navasota.
Right.
And with
Was it
him,
Sealy? Was it
Sealy.
Sealy?
It was a Sealy,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, but we raced. But we'll back up.
You skipped Raining Automotive. A lot of
Raining Automotive. We hung up there.
That's when Daisy Dukes came out.
Rainy. I remember the guys there at the machine shop there on Rainy, right?
Well, Daisy Dukes come out. I remember he came out and he was trying to wrap everybody in and trying to do a
That's
top
when the
10
internet
list.
came out.
The internet.
99.
That's when the internet.
99.
I thought I was cool. I had some kind of sidekick.
That's when we had, what was the name of the deal everybody was on? Texas Racing Scene.
Yeah.
And I was Mr. Rocket.
So
whoa,
right there we'll draw a line.
Yeah,
right
y'all
there.
skipped a whole bunch.
So-
Fuck all that track shit.
Okay, so you're Mr. Rocket. I follow you on because you.
But back
posted
then it was
on
different.
The top 5 ferries.
But yeah.
Top
But
5
King of the Ferries.
So
King of the Ferries.
it's called Centix Hot Rods.
That was
that was Randy.
Somebody
Randy
says
David stuff. Yeah.
the guys at the Roll Racing website, it's not Facebook, the website, they are going ape shit because there's some guy called Mr. Rocket.
That was
and
me.
They don't know who the hell this
They had
dude
no
is.
idea.
You
And
stirred
he's
the pot.
ruffling their
You
feathers.
stirred the pot.
And what was the name of it? It was Keen, the Oriental dude, drove their Supra.
Supra.
And then it was, what was his name? The guy.
That's if you would have found that folder.
Those
it
two
would've been
numbers,
gold.
but those guys were.
That thread was like 500
Oh, dude.
replies.
I put it out every month. I put out the top 5 ferries. And then at the end of the year, I put out the top 10 ferries.
Yeah, that was it.
And they fucking hated me.
I
for a
And,
remember
long
and
that.
so
time.
you were coined the king of
the
the
fairies.
fairies.
King of the
And we were
Ferries.
hanging out at Raining back then.
Yeah.
Trying to get a list going because we were still.
That's when
drag
Daisy
racing.
Dukes was putting out his magazine.
He's got that 56 Chevy.
That was his buddies.
That was his buddies?
Bill or
Okay.
That tall guy.
yeah, big tall guy. Bill, he's still around. He was been at the track when he knows who I'm talking about.
But that's when we started racing at the school, Samsung,
Yeah.
Sorta Decker.
Yeah.
Well, I got stories
I'm
about
working at
that.
on
Samsung.
Palmer,
I'm-
like, or kind of on
No,
the
it's right in front
Yeah.
of James Conley High School.
Well, I'm working at
Shit.
Samsung, and I hear some shit.
Oh, we used to
going on.
race there.
I don't know, what the hell is that?
Oh, I forgot.
And I can't quite figure out where this racing's going on, but I keep hearing it.
Oh,
So-
you're talking about back. Yeah, back
Yeah.
Yeah, that's us. It's called the Hillbilly Nationals.
You're further down.
Hold on.
Hillbilly
Hold on. I lived in the trailer park,
Oh,
right
and
there
legit.
across from the dairy farm
On
on
Dessau.
Dessau.
Oh.
So you went right down to
Yeah.
race at Samsung's, and I found it.
Ooh, right there.
So we'd go to my house. David Porter was there the day
Porter.
that, what's his name, busted his ass.
Charles.
Charles. We had like a little 383 that screamed in a Mustang
Yeah.
with a 4-speed or something
Yeah.
and smoked him. David Porter, we're outside. He runs it up on his deal. He's all pissed off and he pays him and leaves. But we run everybody out there. We called it the Hillbilly Nationals,
Yeah,
right in front of
Hillbilly
Samsung.
Yeah.
Back then, Samsung didn't go all the way
No,
through.
Yeah, it didn't
was-
go all the
it
way
was-
to the
it
290.
was
Yeah.
just-
We
by
would
the-
pull
by
right
the
down
time I
there
went out there,
and then race back
it was
towards
dead as
west.
fuck.
We would race
Is that
back
right?
west.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember it was dark as shit down that road.
Yeah.
It was like no light down there.
And there was a big deal. We were still running quarter mile then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
forgot
the
about
year
that.
it was, but it must have been
Had to be like
2000,
early
98, 99.
Oh, okay, maybe,
because they
okay.
were just coming out with a deal, and that's when the
Yeah.
list started.
Yeah.
Incoming subspace signal.
But that was cool.
Yeah, that-
Those
I-
are all the raining days. I guess.
Yeah, you
So
would go to
Thursday
the
nights,
and that's where
Hillbilly
you see-
Nationals was
Thursday
Thursday
night.
nights, and everybody knew.
What
When I
time
had
would that
cars,
happen? What time was that popping off? About
About
after
midnight. Yeah.
After midnight,
and then
Friday, Saturday nights?
in the little place I lived, the cars would be parked all the way around and everywhere.
Is that right?
But we run a lot out there. Yeah, I had the 55, and that was some fun times.
I saw you show up at Super Shops. I was parked. It was a brand new Camaro, and I said, you know what? Nobody wants to run a Camaro because TPI has had like a real bad name for no performance. I mean, it just either nitros and
305.
yeah, it's just a shit car. You would carburet it, you ruin your new car, or
Yeah.
so this the LT ones come out, and so I go and I get the measurements from Lee's Nova, the wheel spacing because these rear ends are wide. I put my Pro Stars, all that shit, And everybody's like, God damn, you just turned this new car into. I said, man, what, I don't have anything else. So I did that, and I parked there, and I've got drag seats, all that. I mean, the same seats, lead the I-2's running. I mean, the same. Pretty
Right.
much. You show up in your car and you park right next to me, and somebody says, "Oh, I bet his daddy bought him that car," and I'm like, "That's my car. I'm standing right next to you. I don't know who it was with you." And you're like, "No, that's his car." And I was like, "Man," I said, something's about to happen here because he done showed up. Dinkle showed up.
We were gonna race, I think, Daisy or somebody.
Something was gonna happen. And,
Mike Murillo was in town.
Murillo showed up.
Oh, really? Shut up, really?
Yeah, it was in the.
Because we were going to San Antonio racing on the streets by the railroad tracks, where the train guy would stop there and watch us and run, and you had to go all the way back around to come back and run again.
Yeah.
So we were racing there, and we called them, what were the hood rats, the girls would all line up.
Military drive.
Yeah.
Oh, military, yeah.
Back
So,
there,
but then we go to this little place and race. So I raced there. I raced in Houston. I raced in Waco. I raced in Dallas. I raced in Fort Worth. I raced everywhere, and I raced everybody. And the big story that happened with then there's a spin out. There's a video of me spinning out against the Model A, and it reminded everybody of the movie. And it was what happened. I run Marlboro Man the first time, and he barely beat me. So the next run, they had this right lane up there. It looked like a drag strip.
You got to back up. Marlboro Man comes out and starts. We didn't know anything about prep back in the day.
Yeah.
Just I didn't. We did.
No,
I would lay his water down.
I'd
lay his water down for him at Decker, Samsung, wherever. We go to Houston, and there's guys with VHT spraying the 60-foot with glue, and we were like,
and Marlboro Man's car was an all-out race car.
Well, we didn't know.
Yeah. And Cheater Chip, who was friends of Dave,
I remember.
Or no, Kyle's.
What was that dude's real name? Cheater Chip and the orange.
He had that
Justin or Jesse.
I can't remember that, but he had a first gen Camaro, white and orange back in that time. But he had a car, a Chevelle.
He had an orange Chevelle.
Or Chevelle.
Right, he ran with us in the FSTA.
Haveman.
He raced with us in the FSTA.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Anyway,
there's a big long story.
We met them when the river was having San Antonio used to have the little pooches.
They had little pooches. I remember that.
They got run down.
Yeah.
Freddie had the Clash. We used to race in those. We raced in the little pooch, and then these happened, and San Antonio had quit, and we started racing the ones at the river. That's when they got called. They were trying to get us, and John and them had gone and running the FSTA, and so I got the car built in 2003, and we started racing on the street, and I quit racing on the track after the movie came out. So that kind of brings that up. But but before that, when Daisy Dukes and all them, the biggest controversy I had with them guys was we went out to Decker Lane. I'd been at the shop all night, and we got home and we went out there, and I run Daisy Dukes first, and I just ran there's 4 lanes. I said, I'll take the far left lane, and he took the right lane, and I barely beat him. Yeah. Well,
quarter mile back then.
Quarter mile, and I barely beat him. He spun, I barely beat him. So Greg Hill and Craig Powell? Craig Powell.
Oh, Craig Powell.
Had his Mustang, and we were going to run. We'd get lined up. He's in the right lane, and he's going to try to leave on his trans brake.
Oh, yeah.
So he leaves on his trans brake and goes nowhere, and I'm gone. I come back, and I blow my transmission up, and I leg it back to the trailer park where I live. And Daisy Dukes calls me and said, hey, man, you put antifreeze down in our lane. And I went,
I heard that.
I said, dude, I would never do that. Well, because then come back out and run again. I said, my transmission, and they didn't believe my training was blown up, and it was smoke. We couldn't get the converter off. We couldn't get the converter off when we pulled out. And I was at the shop with John Dinkle, his brother Brad Dinkle. Punisher Automotive was our place. I never would have done that. I'd already run shithead Daisy Dukes and beat him, and he left in the same lane. And I tried to tell him, your boy tried to leave on the trans brake. It ain't like now. No. We didn't have these, and and they to this day still so and believe that I did that.
Well, that part of the street,
it's like glass.
Yeah, because I did a test, just coming out of work and
just past the railroad tracks where the starting line was. All the traffic is like glass. Yeah, and I would never, and it really, really, really hurt my feelings that they said that, and people still believe I did that. And I was at the shop. How would I have done that? Well, if I put it down during the day, do you think all the traffic there would? Why would I even think? I never even crossed my mind to do it. And then when I beat Daisy, he was in that lane. He almost barely beat him. And they said that, so that really kind of really hurt my feelings. And I after that, I pretty much didn't run for a while.
But you were coined. You were given you were given the crown. I mean, because you were the last man standing as far as street racing goes. Because road racing came around and Fast and Furious killed all kinds of
Him and Steve went back and forth a lot.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah. So I remember when Steve brought the Camaro and he brings it over to the Manchac speed shop that we called it back then, where Corey and I was there, and the real hillbilly, Brian Dobson. What's up, Brian? And and so anyway, so yeah, it's one of those deals where
I think I beat Steve one time.
Yeah, he gets his car and he puts a big block in it, and then there's a guy named Big Al. I don't know if you remember him. He had a Nova, like a bright orange fire engine red Nova. And,
did he run on the streets back
no,
then?
he tried for a little bit.
But he had a brother, right?
He had a brother.
Him and a brother.
His brother would always, manage his races. If you catch my drift.
Well, he was the painter too.
Everybody would go off.
Yeah, but he was the painter too, whatever. But
So somehow, I guess it's. I'm not sure if it's the same motor or not, but he puts it in that Nova, and I mean, this thing, it's got an alarm. I think it had a radio in it. It was a street car, and he cruised it everywhere. And he got a bad rap because he started right away. He just started beating everybody. And before that, he had a real heavy square body truck with the small block that it was. He was always hosing it.
If I had I'm having trouble remembering him. I must have never raced him.
No, because he came around. He was one of the newer guys. He moved to Austin, and so when that
I might remember that a little bit. Here's what happened with me and what.
Well, that guy's like clockwork.
I know
the reason that I got the reputation I got was because I never asked what you had.
No.
And if they asked me, I would show them. Like when we went to Houston, I would tell that story.
But you never opened your hood. Nobody opened the hood.
Well, no, they always wanted to know what I had, and the people that knew me already do, and you couldn't keep secrets. No. But here's the deal: they came on trailers, they came on everything that beat me, and I ran them all. I didn't care if I got beat. That's when I went to Houston and got beat. I didn't care. I ran everybody, went everywhere to run. I even ran a motorcycle, Winston Dillard. No headlight, no tail light, a drag bike. He gave me 10 car links. I had a ponytail back then, and when he went by me, my old ponytail went out the window. He gave me 10 links for $200, and they had the cars lined up on Decker with the headlights on so he could see. And that's a real true story. So I ran. That's the reason I got the reputation I got, because I ran it. It didn't matter. You came out with a top fuel car, I'd run you.
Yeah.
But that was me, and I never asked. I didn't give a shit and come over. Are you worried, Greg? I said, no, if he beats me, he beats me. But I'm going to run him. And most of the time, most cars that came on a trailer or from the track, they didn't know how to street race.
No.
Right.
So, and I could leave and then get into the nitrous because I had a button because I had it down. I'd hit first gear, and then as I'm shifting second, and even back then, I wasn't running slicks until like the late 90s before I even had a pair of slicks.
What were you running for a tire?
To the 29.5 Mickey Thompson.
No, but prior, before you had slicks.
I had like a
McCrary's or whatever.
McCrary's, I had McCrary's.
Like a little 50, like about that wide, little street tire.
60s.
We didn't even let the air out of them. I just had it down. The car would leave. It was weight transfer was perfect.
No, that car. Everybody was worried about that 55 because they said, "Man, that car hooks no matter."
I seen pictures of that car just biting the traction bar, just biting the tires. And that car's goddamn on the street. Yeah.
So the Ford guys, they bring out a Mustang to the track, and there's video. And these are 5-speed guys, and so there's a video.
Don Decker?
No, I don't know. No. It's I think it was BPA Automotive, and it's a 5-speed Mustang. It's fuel injected, or something.
Well, John Dinkle would know him for sure.
Yeah. Well, the video was out there for a long time.
It was San Antonio or at the river?
No, not the river, and they match you up, and I mean your car. You know when you had nitrous, because when you took off on the spray, that thing was just, I mean, it was just up in
I could leave at the river on spray.
Yeah, and you were
I couldn't do that on the street.
And so that was like one of the most popular races out there, because it was, EFI or new Mustang versus the 55 Chevy. Everybody was known for.
I think I finally went and run Don Decker, and he had Pee Wee driving that Mustang up there.
That's it.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And we went to San Antonio, and it was a big clash. We all got together. When I gave out the awards for the top 10 ferries.
Okay.
Did y'all remember that?
No, I didn't know that.
Were you
I
there?
didn't know that.
So I come out in this outfit. See if you can find
There
it.
it is. Put the avatar back on your
I don't want to
Facebook
see
page.
that.
Yeah, it's the one me standing on top of Brad Dinkel's truck.
Yeah.
And the
That's
with
because
the
the
cape on and all that. Y'all remember that?
I think I do remember.
So,
that.
anyway, after the show, I handed out bras and panties to the winners of the top 10. And I run Pee Wee's driving.
Yeah.
Well, I outrun him
Yeah.
and made me the king. I went the fastest I ever went. In that car, I went a 1024 at 131. And that's the fastest that car. It went a 650 in the 8. So that was the fastest that car ever went. Never went. To this day, never gone any faster.
Yeah.
He drove it, and on the motor, it was going like 12 O's.
Yeah,
he went 1185 on the motor with him driving it.
Wow.
So he beat my record on the motor.
Wow.
And that's when I turned him and let him start to drive it. I don't know how old he was. And I drove that Camaro.
Yeah.
And after 2006, I gave it to him.
Yeah.
How many years has that been now? No, I gave it to you.
Wow.
Yeah, just 16
I got it
years,
around-
15 years.
Yeah.
And when he did a bunch of shit, and then, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll let him talk about what. Well, hold real quick.
Yeah.
The reason he got the name Bird Dog.
Bird dog.
Do y'all remember the guy that had the 4 all-wheel drive truck? What was his name? Remember?
From Raining Days?
Bronco? That little Bronco?
No, that was, I know who that,
Yeah.
no, the one that went and gave you $20 to go find a race
Oh,
for him.
Al.
Al. Remember Al?
Oh, Cyclone.
Okay.
Cyclone.
Oh,
And the
Cyclone.
guy that had
Oh, yeah. I've heard of him.
had the Camaro with all the nitrous on it, and they raced
Yes.
out at across from the high school, and he hit the fence.
Oh, did he?
Oh, Gene.
Gene.
That was a Firebird.
Remember Gene?
Okay, so hold on. So, so I met Gene. I went to his place, and Gene was like an ex-Marine. He had this Firebird that he got out of
He had 2 kits on it.
You're like a
Ray is
tunnel
towing.
ram.
Ray is towing. They've been on Discovery Channel before. That car came from their salvage yard. So he puts this. He's building the motor. He's got it in the garage, and it's like
This
a
is the
motor
same
cam,
time we're
tunnel
talking
ram,
about.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the same time. So he puts that motor in that freaking Firebird.
Right.
He puts these
2
Pro
kits.
Street tires
he put
that
2
stick
kits
out.
on it.
Two
Two
kits.
kits.
He's got those tires, the old ones.
I think he tried to leave him on the trans brake in
He had to
school.
stick it.
School that.
Yeah.
He left, and it goes wham,
Yep.
wham.
Too much power.
And I'm right
I mean,
there
yeah.
at where
He
it's
raced
at.
Jaws.
Because
Remember Jaws?
Oh yeah, Jaws with the Nova. I can't remember his real name.
Wow.
His name was Brad.
Yeah.
His real name was Brad. Jaws. I forgot all about
He would
Jaws.
have. He would have beat
His-
a lot of people. if he
Jaws
didn't-
was real fast.
If he didn't get into a shit or
He
whatever.
was a
he
squirrel.
Was in there.
Yeah.
No offense, but
Well, if he would have just toned it back down on takeoff, that car really would have.
I don't think he knew how to drive. I'm sorry. And he hit the fence, so I'm dragging him out. They're calling this, and he's okay, kind
You
of.
got starflighted or something?
No,
No,
we got him out, and then I went and ran, got my car, and left. And some guy from EMS was there yelling and screaming at me.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing out here? I don't know. I said, you're here too. What the hell are you talking about? The place is packed. I mean,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
packed. And I run John. What's John's name? The red Camaro.
Alvarado.
I run Alvarado
yeah.
out there and beat him, and he's it was short. It was, and we went out there and measured it. I went out every race we've raced new. We went out. I had one of them little roller deals,
Yeah,
and we
wow.
measured it. I measured it exactly, marked it with big paint, and it was down to the big tree down by the
Fucking quarter
school.
mile, dude.
It was quarter mile, and I outrun him, and he was sick. He just was bad. That's the only time I think I ever raced him, and I beat him.
Yeah.
We never raced again. But Alvarado, he's a pretty abrasive person sometimes, but that's just him. If you don't know,
I know
Yeah,
John.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's on.
Well, that Camaro he had, that used to be Rod's car.
Well, Dwayne back then had a white Camaro, and then he had his
Oh,
truck.
yeah, Dwayne.
Dwayne, and he had
What's
a
his last
truck. Can't think of his last name, but
We're forgetting about Monty Mark. Remember
Monty
Mark?
Mark.
Monty Mark.
Yeah.
We're talking about him.
Cisneros, Mark
I think
Cisneros,
he
yeah.
is,
He had
yeah.
a twin brother. He was in
Yeah.
that, he was in that roll race.
And he's still married to the same girl, I think,
He
too.
used to drag race a lot with us.
But
Yep.
his brother
He still
had
got the
a
G body. He still
import.
got that G body.
Yeah, because I seen him on Facebook.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole story to go back up was, so, what's his name again with the four-wheel drive?
Al.
Al.
Yeah.
One night we're out, and he would go. He was a kid. He'd go running around trying to get races. And Al gave him $20 one day and said, "Go see if that guy wants to run." And I think he did. And they run.
Now, Al is an older gentleman. Back
He was
then.
old back then.
He
Yeah.
was already. I mean, he was retired. He was about maybe.
I don't know.
70s back then.
No, not that
Early
old.
70s. No, he's early 70s, late 60s.
Late 60s,
No
maybe.
way. He's
Yeah,
just
he
one of
worked-
those Mexicans that looked old.
He had just retired. He had just retired from the state, and he goes and gets the Cyclone.
It was a Cyclone.
I tried messing with him one time, just going to 6th Street, and I mean, he left me standing still. That damn.
Well, it was 4-wheel drive. Yeah, we'd never seen one before.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he went and got that.
Yeah,
got the race. Gave him $20. I'm going, you got $20, you son of a bitch? Fucking bird dog. And that's how
That's where it came
that
from.
started the bird dog. I nicknamed everybody back then. Fat Cat the River Rat. That was, I mean, Lee Dykes was Fat Cat.
All of them.
You know, all them people.
Yeah.
I named them all. All of them had a name.
Yeah, all of them had a name.
Oh yeah, and then Don Decker. If you want to talk about them idiots.
Yeah, Don Decker, man. I remember Don back.
We used to go. We were at the track at the river. And, oh shit, Don's going up. Everybody would go up there and try to make a pass before he blew up. Y'all remember you get them junk motors out of the junkyard? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
I know Don. I've known Don for a long time.
I mean, I loved him and Pee Wee and his brother. I still see them. Actually, the last race I was at,
I haven't seen Don in.
I haven't seen him, but his brother's been out,
Oh,
and I haven't
okay.
seen Pee Wee in a long time either. I thought he went to prison or something.
Wow, yeah,
But
all those guys, like, there's a ton of guys that.
who did I miss? Here's a list of people that I knew and raced. Porter Potty, that was what we called him. Tiny the fat boy.
Wait, he had another name. They called him.
We called him Porter Potty.
Doughboy.
The Doughboy,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
Porter,
And one day, me and my wife were sitting on the trailer, and he's got his nitrous bottle sitting on his trailer in the sun. All of a sudden, you hear this kaboom!
Oh,
And Mary Kay goes, "What the fuck was that?" His bottle just blew up. So he gets all mad, and he throws it in the back of his head. A dually.
Yeah.
Remember the dually?
Yeah.
And as he's leaving the river that day, we're leaving with him, he gets on it and makes that turn, and the rear end goes kaboom! You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
I know. Well, I know.
He had a big block or something.
He put a 502. He bought a crate.
He's the
loader.
first one that had a 502 back in the day.
I know.
And he put it in that dually and then blew the rear end out when he was leaving the
It was
river.
just an extra cab. It was an extra cab.
Hey, hold on. Let's Butch Lake, Harvey Wallbanger, Tiny Tim. Y'all wouldn't know him. He had a little Nova that was the king of the streets when I first started him with my
I've heard
Chevelle.
the name, yeah.
And we hung out. If I can think of the name of what we called that little strip center, it's the name of the street right by it. Fat Pat, he's dead. Hippie Bill, he's the one I told you that Lee hit his car. Kadurka, we all know him, and the White Nova. Little Roy and Skeeter didn't have a car, but I fought them a whole bunch of times. Daisy Dukes in the Pontiac. Craig, I mentioned him. Brad Williams, y'all know him.
He's still around.
He's the one that wrecked that Pontiac down on Lamar. Y'all remember that? He had like a blue Pontiac and he wrecked it.
No, maybe I'm confusing it with the '67 Camaro.
No, it was a Pontiac. He had a Pontiac and wrecked it on Lamar.
It was a real nice,
long time ago.
Restored '67 Camaro.
Well, this was a race car.
Oh no.
And then John Dinkle, Mike
Dinkle.
Kelly, who's dead. Y'all probably wouldn't know him. Sariantes, Eric Tobar.
I messaged he goes by SW on Facebook.
Yeah, Richie
Sariantes.
Smith.
Nobody can say his name.
Yeah, nobody there. And somebody said, "What do you call him?" And I'm
Cervantes,
like,
what I call him.
and
Sariantes, yeah.
I'm like, he goes by SW, and
I've known him a long
okay.
time. He never raced. He wanted to run me one time, and he
had a
said
Pro Street Camaro.
he
He
bitched
said
at me
white-
because I was drinking. He wanted to run against me. I said, I've been racing my whole life, dude.
That's when I run the best, man. What sounds best to
Pretty
you.
much. And then we talked about Dwayne, y'all don't know him. Bubba Likes It and Bubba Jukebox. Bubba Likes It had the yellow Camaro that I raced a whole long time. Bubba Jukebox had the car.
Bubba Lowry.
Bubba Lowry.
He
He used to have a second gen back
That
in the
old
day.
primer? It was just
It
primer
was
for a
primer,
while?
and he painted
now
lime
the
green
guy
there
with
for a while there.
that's the yellow Camaro. I have a video of
That was
him.
Bubba. He's
That
the
was
one
Bubba.
that.
Well, he used to have what was that? He used to have like a big old 706 in there at one
Now,
time.
is this correct? I heard he had a barrel of gas.
He caught fire at his house.
Fire at his house.
And,
Wow.
and it caught fire, and the car caught on fire, and it caught on the deal from the your hot water heater. And he had spilled some gas, putting gas in it. I think they had it backed in or something. That's a true story. Then Jeremy and Thomas, we talked about them. Daryl Ehrlich, he's a boat racer now. He holds the record in blown fuel hydro. If y'all don't know him. Gary Langford, he's from South Dawson. We used to hang out with all them.
I hung out with him for a little bit. We kind of tried to resurface.
And then Ralph Cantwell, I raced him at the river in San Antonio and beat him. And his old lady put the money up. His first wife. She was fit to be tied. And that I got a few more names, but that was all the ones. So we covered most of the people that. And he brought up some people I can't remember.
Before I start asking you stuff, because you've got your own story going on already.
Yeah.
You brought on a pack of your books have already grown, right? So before I end it with you, Greg, what went on with that damn roll racing? Did you go out and test and you raced Brad, or just to test your car out or something? You were actually going to go and Brad Williams. He had the Hayabusa. Were you testing on testing your Nova on the street for this possibility of a road
No,
race?
I didn't have the Nova when they road raced.
Or what did you have?
The 55.
It was just a 55.
But then Brad Dinkle had a little Mustang, a coupe, that had a 347 in it, and he let me borrow it, and I went and road raced with a bunch of people.
Oh, is that right? Shit.
It was a stick car, 5-speed, and I blew everybody away, and that's when I tried to get Jeremy to road race me, and he wouldn't do it. And we were road racing on Mopac then, and he wouldn't run me again. And but anyway, I learned a lesson that night because Jeremy again run me in that car, and I left in fucking first gear.
Yeah, I learned my lesson.
It went pop, 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 and it was on a throttle. What do you call it?
Rev limiter.
No.
Oh, the wide throttle, the wide throttle switch
for the nitrous. So I didn't have control of it, and when I left, it goes bang, bang, bang. I banged it, and of course he's gone, and we're already going 20 miles an hour. But he would never run me again. So that's twice I run him, and he never run me again. Yeah, but that was both road racing.
Road racing.
He would never run me drag racing.
Yeah. So what was your mile an hour road racing?
Oh, that car, I can't look at the speedometer when I'm going that fast.
No, but I mean, just Mopac doesn't look straight anymore after 100. I realized.
You know when you get on Koenig Lane in that area,
it's a good straight,
and you go into this bridge, it's real straight right there. That's where we were road racing.
Before that bridge, it's not straight.
Well,
no, it's got a little curve.
I mean, it's a long curve, but I mean,
if there's nobody in the lane, fuck it, go straight.
Well, after that, they started doing 3 wide on the upper decks. What we called it, 3 wide.
Oh yeah.
And that's when Ralph and Thomas and all them were road racing.
Ralph started killing everybody.
Then Ralph was killing everybody in road racing, and then he had the drag car and run me at like I said, San Antonio, and I beat him.
So is that stuff even happening still today?
The road racing? Yeah. I think so.
Oh yeah.
There's 2 different scenes nowadays.
2 different scenes, right?
There's
what
3.
You do, and
if
then
you count the clowns, the roll racing, and then us.
Yeah, and I much prefer us. The us the way you're doing because I don't know, the other ones they're not safe, man. I mean, even just to go out and get some dinner, you kind of look. I mean, I'm looking at the rear mirror like, man, I'm on the wrong.
And then there's idiots that think they're they got a new vet.
There's a group of fast roll racers right now.
Well, there's a guy that had the vet that worked across the street from John. What was his name?
Across the street from John.
Remember he worked for Toyota.
There's a bunch of them.
He had the real fast one that used to come to the shop when we were in Hutto. I know you know him, had a girlfriend, a wife.
What kind of car was it?
Probably a Corvette.
It was a vet.
Most of the fast roll racer guys are now all got vets.
Yeah, he had a vet.
Or some.
Oh, he worked at Toyota. I met him through the shop.
The guy who owns the tool truck now.
Yeah. That's him. He was friends with Ralph and Ralph and Bill, the guy from our shop, Punisher, Bill
Larson.
And Randy had a little road race for a while. Randy David and all them idiots bought a brand new Mustang back in 2016, 2017 with a supercharger on them.
So,
and they all went road racing.
So basically, you guys, you Dinkle and all those guys, y'all ended up becoming really good track racers. Y'all were.
We dominated. Our 6 cars went to FSTA, and we dominated in San Antonio. We dominated at the river. And we dominated in Houston.
Dinkle was running
except for Kyle.
Small block
Pontiac,
right?
Yeah.
And then nobody knows, or the story kind of gets lost. The next small block Pontiac is
bigger than this motor
on Discovery, right? It's the Discovery Pontiac.
His big joke is he gave some heads to, or gave something to Big Chief, and he says, I ought to call that motherfucker now. He's on TV and get him back. He always says he still owes me, but John is one of the nicest guys you ever know, and he's them guys. We were dedicated. We raced at every one that Freddie put on. Clash of the Titans. We were there at 5 a.m. that one time. You were probably there too.
I was there. We were barbecuing, man. It was like going on.
The sun was coming up, and we were leaving.
Yeah, man.
Those days.
That was.
I told them they used to dominate because they'd bring Randy, Skinny,
Randy's
John,
car was fast.
They'd bring 5 cars to every event. I'm
Skinny's car was fucking
shit y'all
fast.
gonna win.
Yep. Brad Dinkle's car was real fast. And then Brad Newcomb's car was fast. He's the one that bang, 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 bang.
He's the one that got the scallops on the front, right? Of his Mustang.
I don't know, but it was a fast son bitch.
Yeah, I know.
But
then cars all sitting around right now.
None of them are racing.
They're just like sitting there.
None of them are racing. Ralph's cars.
Just like how we talk. I mean, Clash Racing went. You
bring up Clash Racing. Well,
I bring it up a lot.
Well, here's what brought back racing. Y'all remember this? After the Clash and everything kind of died out, and this year I'd already wrecked.
Oh yeah, Pink's all out.
I'd already wrecked in 2006, so then I got rid of I sold it to Noel. my Nova.
Oh,
Y'all
your
know who
Nova,
Noel is.
yeah.
And I took the 55, and the big they had me on camera, and the guy that used to be the starter, that white dude.
Oh, Chris is Rich.
Whatever, the asshole. We had the big fight there. We can't tell you about that fight. But Freddie and me were supposed to run for $1,000. We both made a practice run. I went like a 990 on the motor or something, and Freddie said he broke his training. Well, Ralph and them got all drunk and went down there to see if he really broke it. And next day, some Mexican throws a beer at Ralph and it hits that starter dude in the back of the head. And we got this big old giant fight, our shop against all these guys.
Yeah, I heard
so
that.
then, it called it the Clash.
Oh, that's when y'all got. That's when y'all got banned.
Yeah.
Well, no, we didn't get
Ralph
banned, but Ralph did. But what happened was,
Just one dude.
is after that happened, we called it the Brawl in the Fall, and I wrote a song about it, and it was pretty funny. And I did a big deal on the Syntex hot rod things that we had. But anyway, I have a flat on my trailer. Well, AJ and me and him were loading up, and my whole crowd is left. Remember, we've all been fighting these guys, and there's a bunch of don't forgive me, bunch of Mexicans over there, and them motherfuckers. When we left, they were throwing shit at us, and fuck you. And I was like, get this out of here. And AJ stayed the hell. He's a big dude and helped me fix the flat. You remember that?
Yeah, I was with you.
And
them bottles still go flying on the internet nowadays, man. There's this guy standing there, man. All of a sudden, just bottle just go bing, and it's like, God damn.
But anyway, that was called the Brawl in the Fall.
Oh man, that was like exciting times.
Do you remember that? I remember that.
I remember a lot of that stuff, man. Because there was like that was when the airwaves were coming up with the internet and Syntex hot rods. There was like a lot of discussion.
So tell me, man, tell me a little bit more about your crazy accident back then. Just tell me a little bit. What was going on? You were on the line. You take off, and where does this happen? At the beginning of the track, mid track, end of the track? What happened there?
So, in 2 times in my life, the Nova had a Mustang shifter in it, an old '65 Mustang where you click, low, with a little button on it. And that was my shifter. Ralph Cantwell had a wrecking yard. And so this is my Nova. It goes into reverse. Of course, there's no, it's a shitty. I'm about almost past the stands where the old stands used to be, and the car goes into the fence and lands on top of the metal, all the metal. That was my first wreck in the 80s or late 70s. I remember. So about 5 big black guys pick it up off that deal, and the whole thing, the metal thing, the guardrail falls down. And then that was my first wreck, big wreck. And that's when I put the fiberglass front end on the Nova. Remember, I had a fiberglass foot end. So the last race,
I'm trying to identify your Nova. Are you the one that ran with the hood lifted up in the back a little bit, or the Durka?
No,
that had a big.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Okay, all right. So anyway,
I had a fiberglass hood, and I never had a hood scoop.
Okay.
So in Sealy, is that correct?
Sealy.
That's where you had an FSTA.
06 or 07ish.
It was 06.
I remember it.
It was
that was your blue
cold.
Nova.
It was cold as shit. Yeah. Already had 2 wrecks before I wrecked. The guy red lit, and I stayed in it for some reason. Hit second gear, and for some reason I just stayed in it, and it went woo, and it was concrete, and I hit it. It knocked me out, fucked up my ribs. If you can see my helmet, and I kind of came to, and I got off the throttle, but I was still going down the deal on the throttle, and totaled that car, the one I sold to Noel, not my Noel, I sold that one to Noel.
Noel, yeah.
And I kind of had a God coming to fear life. I just had a daughter, his sister, with another wife, and I just decided kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, he wouldn't even let me drive home that night. I was like, I'll drive the truck and trailer. He's like, no,
really?
I'm good.
But anyway, so that was that was pretty much. I went and raced in this, and the story was I went too fast. The guy that ran it, he came over and said, "Greg, you're more than welcome to stay, but you will not be racing." I went like a 1080. I thought I slowed. I was trying to run 11.
I was trying to run. I was trying to run 11 flat. Those classes.
Remember, you tried to find. So I was trying to run 11 flat.
Oh, because they
were picking the closest,
the most popular.
And then they came over and did an interview with me. It turned out that one of the key grips, he's the guy that carries the camera and stuff, had seen me race out at Decker, and they said, "Man, you need to go talk to this guy." So they come and interview me, but it was never on TV. But
I know.
But the deal was they showed my car on that twice. I've been on TV 4 different times. I raced Steve Combs' car, the 55 twice. and on TV, and then I was in the Super Street magazine or Super
Yeah.
Street, whatever it's called. I've been into that 3 times. The funny thing about that is, once they got my name right. It was either Gary Wright or Greg White.
Fucked it up every time.
And then Mike and the
They call
Punisher
it
on the
career.
motor.
They
We
were
were over
really
off of Gray Boulevard, and those guys were relentless. What's going on? What's going on, Mr. White? And so I'm on TV 4 times and in the magazine like 3 times, and they got my name right once.
Damn, man, what a.
But yeah, I was on TV
No wonder I could
actually.
never find them. Every time
When
I
they
look
did
at-
Pink Saw
Yeah,
Out and
yeah.
they showed it, they showed me racing a Mustang and they showed my car, and then they showed me again running, but they never.
They interviewed Mark. Mark was on TV.
Mark?
Mark Sincere, I remember.
Yeah,
And then
but
he was on the interview.
Yeah, I remember that because
they
I was there
interviewed-
at that race.
Yeah.
That,
They gave
that
it
one,
to-
that picture right there on the left,
Far
that's
left.
from the Pinks, all that.
Hell yeah.
So I was running. I ran a 980. I was babying it, and then we didn't know what class we were gonna pick.
Yeah, I know.
In the last class, I was coming off foot brake, and I trans braked it, and my starter fucked up.
Well, see, he was trying to do the same thing we were doing.
Yeah,
we wanted to be in the
people were
class
saying
that
it
had
was
the
to be
most
11
cars
or
and-
10-0.
I thought that too. I was trying to shoot for 11-0 and went a 1080. Well, they were already mad at me because you can't run. What
With
is
row bar.
11.
No row
I
bar.
had no. I still to this day have
They
no
don't
row
have no
bar.
row bar. I remember that.
1175
Yeah,
or
that's
something in
cut off.
NHRA.
You were running 1097.
And I had an NHRA license at the time too, so it's not like I wasn't.
So you already knew I'm gonna make my pass and I'm out.
Well,
Yeah.
once
Well,
he came over, I didn't
Well,
know.
you're trying to run 11-0. He was trying to run 11-0.
I'm at a 1080.
It wasn't Little River.
Yeah. Like I said, he came over and he goes, "You're
Call it
welcome to
my
stay, but you ain't racing again, Greg. Put it on the trailer." I went, "All right." And then about that time, those guys came over and interviewed me, and I was ripping them.
You already
So-
started like.
Well, yeah, I was in full swing. Let me just say
There was
that.
a lot of people there that day.
And they,
Oh, yeah.
it was packed.
Dude, we got there like at 5 that morning, and there was cars in the field.
Dude,
There was like over 400 cars or something there that day.
it was
It
ridiculous.
was cold as shit too.
It snowed on me
It
the way
snowed,
there.
yeah.
For real.
That's exactly right.
And then it cleared up.
Yeah.
And we
I
spent.
don't remember that.
Yeah.
We spent the night
When does that shit
in John
happen?
Dinkel's trailer, and I'm the only one racing, and all John and David and
They're
all
there for
the
you,
whole
right?
They got a picture of him in pajamas.
Punisher
right?
Automotive. My
Oh,
whole crew came to watch me
Watch
run.
these, yeah, man. it's
Anyway, I'm trying to sleep, and they're all out there drinking. Oh, motherfucker! Hey, fuck you! I gotta walk out there, and I had to go pee, and they take pictures
Take a
of me in
picture of
my
him.
long johns.
We need that picture, dude.
Dude, I was so tired the next day.
Dude, it was cold as shit. Yeah, that like I said, my car had never been in the rain or cold. Not only I got those, but plus it snowed. Yeah, it was snowing on the way up there. Like we met Mike Marquez.
Did you slow
and-
that
and
race
a few other
down?
guys.
Oh.
Yeah, it was, but it was cold as shit.
That was a big race.
But it was-
And that
it was-
brought
it
back
was
the whole
badass.
point was that brought racing back for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that 2008 when because I talked about it before. At that time, you were just either if you were racing, you're a bracket race, or maybe not even. There wasn't even.
There wasn't any street racing.
There was no.
Because Texas True 10-5 didn't start
It had
happening.
di-
No.
like
later.
2000.
No, I'm telling you, that FSTA died in 2006 after
Yeah.
I won the championship.
Yeah.
That died.
That's when it died,
because
right.
Kyle
That's
was
right.
dominating.
Kyle Huddle
Kyle
killed
Huddle.
everybody.
Same,
Yeah, the
same thing in
69er.
San Antonio.
Yeah.
The people started. What was the guy that walked with the crick in his neck? The Mexican, real fast car Mustang. What was
Oh, there was a bunch of. There was a few
Flores.
guys.
Flores.
Flores
Oh,
were like,
yeah, and the Mustang,
Flores
yeah.
were like
The cricket
5
is
O's
that
back.
Dude,
Flores.
still, yeah, he
was
kicked ass-
dominating.
Yeah, he kicked ass there.
God.
But anyway, once people start dominating these deals at the river
Yeah.
and at San Antonio, people
Yeah.
would quit coming.
Yeah,
and that happened at the river.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, the real thing I didn't like about the river, it's 4 in the fucking morning. What's taking all that?
I know.
I was
That
That's
still
the
happens.
complaint. We talked about that yesterday. It's like, that's what killed like the facility. Anywhere, I guess wherever you go now, it seems like wherever
Everywhere,
you're
it doesn't
at now, it's
matter
like,
where you go.
Fuck,
4
it's like
5
fuck.
o'clock.
Start the motherfucker earlier.
Well, they don't
Yeah,
wanna
you're
run
going up
into
to that last race, the big Jake race. I don't care. They were like It was like 9 o'clock the next morning when they were still
crazy.
running
They had like 50 cars in that one class.
Yeah,
Still.
but
Well,
That's
I'm
crazy.
going to shut up, man.
yeah,
Y'all
but yeah.
talk to
So
AP.
Astin,
So here, sorry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So that's
so
how it goes.
the next generation.
What happened to you?
Yeah, how did
Are
you?
you doing this because he had you everywhere, basically
Oh, yeah.
back then?
Yeah.
Raining Automotive was my start.
And you took.
Well, how old were you then?
Yeah.
When, in like
Well,
Third grade, 95,
I'm about
96.
because I'm about 23, 20.
That's
At
when
that
I
time.
that's when I started hanging out with Al,
Yeah.
Monty Mark, Fat Pat,
Yeah.
and Lee sort of came out.
Yeah,
Daisy
they would
Duke.
come out every now and then. But yeah, that's where like the I guess turbo stuff started coming out.
Well, that was.
I remember Cord.
Raining was
no
what
turbo
was
stuff.
Super
The
Shops?
Supras-
Was
the
Super
Supras-
Shops after Raining?
Before.
Before.
Because they closed down, and then everybody says we're going that way.
He probably doesn't remember this because we were kids.
Yeah.
Remember the Whataburger and the antique
And
shop
Round Rock.
used to have
Oh,
car
and
show.
Round
That's
So-
one of
Yeah.
So he would tell me and my brother, he'd be like, "Y'all,
Yeah, that
y'all
was
want to go to
big back
the
then.
y'all want to go to the big boys parking lot or the kiddie parking lot?"
That's what it was. Yeah.
So we'd go to the kiddie parking lot, hang out, and there was show cars.
Yeah,
It
a
was
little bit.
every
That's where the
Saturday.
racer was racing. I know they would meet. There was
And
racers
then
meet up there.
After that, we'd go and hang out till 3 in the morning at Raining, and we mightn't even race.
That's
that
when
night.
That's the first time I met Billy Stockton too. Was
Is that right?
And the antique mall.
At the antique mall.
Oh.
He was hanging out at our shop. That's when Billy used to race with us, and he had a Mustang that him and Brad ran, Brad Dinkle, and that's how we met Billy before he
Billy
got
Stockton,
famous.
yeah.
Al Cyclone, he came back. The thing about Al, and this is the reason why I'm gonna talk about it, is because he had two of them. He had a stock one.
Yeah, I know. We knew that. We knew that.
The old trickster.
And
We
they
knew
looked
that.
He had a decoy.
We knew it. We knew
But
it.
he had one for racing, and then he had one just to street cruise.
He had a decoy.
So the one that was really nasty, it wasn't nasty when he started racing it, but he raced a lot. I mean, a lot. And then when it's at Raining Performance, he now has a built motor in it, and it's idling. It's got a cam. It's got like it's shit that's unheard
No
of.
hiding it.
No, there's no hiding it, and so that was the whole deal with him, is that he had Mr. Hyde and Mr. Jekyll. And,
Yeah.
and you knew that.
We all knew that.
And the windows,
There was no
he
secrets
would, he
back
would
then.
never raise his windows down. He wanted to keep his truck. I mean,
I knew.
Well, back then, no one sort of knew what anyone had, and that's where like I was a kid, so he'd tell me go walk around and count the bolts on their valve cover, what tire they running.
yeah.
You got to get to feel him out. Big block, small block.
There was a time.
How many solenoids are in that on
Yeah.
that carburetor?
There was a time where and we're gonna bring this guy on, Eric Tobar. There was a time when he
Dave
showed
Cave
up.
and those guys.
Well, he showed
They
up.
blew the
We
tire.
had- we-
They blew
we-
the tires at Decker one night,
Yeah.
and we watched him get sideways, and I thought he was going to total.
Well,
the
we
shit.
haven't seen Cave. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Not
But
since
we're gonna get Tovar. Cause I remember they had the G bodies back then.
I don't
They were
think
like
I ever
the.
raced Eric, did I? I don't
No,
remember.
because they were track racers. And
Yeah, I don't think I
When
ever
the one
run
time
them.
they came to the street, they looked like they
Just
left
tire.
on the trans brake.
Yeah, I don't think I ever run them.
But
honestly.
yeah, they're gonna be on pursuit. So
Let's go about you, man.
So
You-
yeah, so Rainy.
That's where I started.
That's where you started, third grade, right? And then
Yeah.
you're following your dad. Your dad's going around. So
You
do you
wrecked
feel
on his
that you're
car
following
and
his footsteps, or you feel like you're following his footsteps?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see it.
So did you get all deep in the motor with his stuff and tune the
I
nitrous and all kinds of shit? Or?
no, not much of the tuning or any of that. Back then, I just helped pour the water. I was just there. I was young. I didn't know shit.
They rode skateboards a lot.
Yeah. Wow, it was a big
And then they had the little things everybody rode. They
course.
rode or the bikes.
Yeah, we
So,
all did BMX.
I remember when he posted it on on Facebook that he handed you the Camaro,
That was.
and it was your daily
It
driver
was
for
too.
a long time.
Yeah.
And next thing you know,
So 2010,
So-
11.
I don't even recognize that car. I'm at a track with that event that you put on, and I couldn't distinguish. I couldn't believe that was your
I
car.
told him to leave it like it was.
Because you won some
The-
stuff. You
the
won some
sleeper.
stuff that day, and I'm like, damn.
It was a sleeper. It
is
was
this-
a
yeah.
sleeper.
And he goes, dude, that's a street car.
Yeah.
I'm like, but he's running damn good. He's like, well,
Yeah.
that's a street car.
That was that King of the Hill we
Yeah.
had that one time. So yeah, you were there in
when we
Yeah,
ran the
Little
up
River?
down.
Little River. Yeah.
I
It
thought
was-
it was in like 6.0.
Yeah, no, yeah, this was like
Nitrous
4
motor.
years ago. So yeah, you were just, I think you just had the LS in there, I guess.
That's when Cricket was the
It was
fastest
a
car.
408.
408, that
smoke
was,
spray.
yeah. So yeah, you were 6.0ish, yeah. So, and like I said, yeah.
So
street
how,
car.
how do you get into the street? There you go. There's that photo.
Oh, God.
Put it on the camera
I
right
don't
there.
know if
Can you
I
put it
wanna
on
see
the-
Yeah,
that.
let me hold on. Hold
It's
on.
all
hold on.
good. That was the deal I gave everybody that year.
Put it on the camera.
Put it right
The
here.
top 10 ferries.
I think I walked away when he came out like that. I walked away. I was like, I don't see that. I read enough of that on the internet.
Yeah.
That was the debut because no one knew who he was, and then he finally was like, "I'm Mr. Rocket."
Yeah. You were also you were Dr. Nitrous.
Dr. Nitrous. I remember Dr. Nitrous.
Mr. Rocket, Dr. Rocket.
And that was before
King
trolling
Affairs,
was
dude.
trolling. He didn't know what trolling was.
Dude, you were trolling hard.
Nobody-
Man. Everybody. I remember
If anybody knows what troll, he coined it. That is,
that was like 2003, if I recall, because I remember
burned down the whole.
Randy had the Syntex hot rods up, and that was a forum that everybody was going to. Like, they had hot rod gossip.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the guy in Houston. That's
guy
where
in
my
Houston.
video was when I
Yeah.
went sideways against.
Is that right?
Marlboro
Jeter
Man.
Chip.
And,
Oh,
Well,
okay.
he didn't drive. Kyle drove the little Model A.
Gotcha.
And I got over to the left into the dirt and went that way, and he
Okay.
was already ahead of
I
me.
can't
and
remember
almost
that guy's
rolled it.
name, but Hot Rod Gossip, and there was Rankin
Joe-
Road.
Joe something.
Joe,
Yeah.
he's dead now.
Yeah, he passed away, but
So
that was a
you're
big deal.
so you're running. How do you get into the whole street scene nowadays? The whole modern no prep street scene with
Yeah,
WFO.
you're big.
We're talking about Chris Siebert. I'm talking about you're hanging out with these guys that are now
So
2-3 times faster than this kind of shit we're talking about. Right?
yeah, it's crazy to think back to
Yeah.
what he was running on the street, and if you watch what we're running on the street, it's a big change.
You learn real
It's a
quick
big
how much
swing.
horsepower it takes to be
Yeah.
ahead today, and it's changing almost every 6 months. You need to kind of
Man.
take it up a notch.
If you break something and you fall out for 6 months, you're slow again.
You're behind the game.
Like,
Yeah.
you're
so,
behind.
So when did you come out? When did you do your
Yeah.
first street hit in this modern style of?
So
of
he
rap?
gave me the car in
Right.
2010 or
What do you-
11.
What do you do to it?
I was in Waco in school, and then when I got back, I moved back home, and then that's when I really started digging into the car. Got the rear quarter panels replaced, all the rust and all the shit that was in the car. I gutted it. Darren Mueller put a roll cage in it, a 9-inch, and that's when I was like, all right, let's
We
go.
went to that place in
let's go race. You
Georgetown
started
and bought the 408.
I went to Texas Speed,
Texas
bought a
Speed.
408,
Yeah, Texas
put a
Speed.
carb on it. Everybody dogged me for that for the longest time.
Everybody kept saying,
Dude,
that,
yeah, that's the thing.
Because
LS has got to be
big
multiple.
That was my fault.
Hey?
All I
It
did was
worked.
carburetors.
Yeah. I went through a lot of boxes, and I.
Yeah, they'll run like
lot
the
of-
old MSD 6014
Yeah, but
or something like that.
the reluctor wheel was spinning on the crank.
Oh,
No one,
Oh,
they
gotcha.
didn't tack weld it. So for
Yeah.
a long time, I thought that.
My timing was off. I'm gonna get
that was the irritation.
Bud.
So the car would fly, and then
Yeah,
it
break down.
wouldn't
Oh.
fly. And but man, what was that? 2014 or 15? I met Chris Calabrese, who runs
of course,
Austin.
yeah.
He runs. He don't look like it. I don't know if you know him or met him.
I probably know him by the car.
He
My
don't have a
neighbor
car.
across the street, his name is Ed. He runs around with Chris.
So
Anyway.
he's like a little 4-foot midget from fucking up north
Did
corner somewhere.
videos, knew everybody in racing and street racing, big time.
He controlled Austin then. He still does now.
Huh.
If you race in Austin, you go through Chris Calabrese.
Okay.
Is that right? Okay.
So I didn't have Facebook, so I'm basically going through him.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, hey, where are they at this weekend?
Who is this dude? Yeah. I don't
And
know.
so I show up all secret, quiet. I'm like the new guy, this new car. I don't even have nitrous on the car yet. And I go out and I run, and I'm trying to get on their little top 10 list. And thinking about it now, like the car was a dog.
This is over by the Coca-Cola place, off of
Off Burnett Road and ATX.
We used to-
Oh, crap, that's-
Cindy-
Longhorn.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
used
we
to race
still race
there.
there.
The
That's where I
Oh,
went.
that
ATX,
little industrial. Like
ATX Dig. That's
oh,
where
yeah,
they
yeah, of
raced.
course. I've seen some videos there back
Yeah.
there.
So
Yeah.
you run out there, and I mean,
Instantly know, like I wasn't really ready.
you weren't ready, but
Yeah.
you I mean, but you're prepared to do it because you've seen your dad do a lot.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
I was in it.
obviously any kind of fuck up, you can fix it. Because if you do something wrong.
So
you know,
every Thursday we were hanging out at the race shop in Hutto. Back then, Dinkle, all the
Dinkle,
Dinkles
that
were
was
still
country,
racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put nitrous on it, and then that's when I noticed all the fast guys, the real fast guys, were racing in Dallas. Street
Yeah.
stuff. It was all street stuff.
You running slicks, or you running drag?
It was all slicks.
Okay.
Everybody runs slicks, and then by this time, obviously, it was all
Small tires.
8th mile.
Yeah,
Small
8
tire,
mile,
8th
everything.
This
mile.
is before everybody started running the 15-12 balloon.
Oh, they still do.
Well, back then where they weren't doing it, not very much.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You got paid. If you paid attention, you could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your car. So what you?
So
learned
on
to
the
get
motor-
shocks. You start, realizing. You
Well,
gotta
that
get to
took a
good-
while.
Okay.
I wasn't smart on that until we did more serious racing. When I first came out, it was like 680s, 690s on the motor. Doing the Austin local stuff, and that's when I ran into Sievert back then in the day, and he was like, "Yo, this kid, he pulled shit." Sievert was already racing out of
Sierra, I
town.
was with them, and yes,
He was already, he was going to Dallas. He was
Yeah.
traveling,
Right.
and
Gumby was tuning for
Gumby was tuning
Oh,
his car.
Chris, yeah.
I trying to think who was the fastest back then around us.
But that kid with a little 240Z thing, wasn't it? Casey or whatever?
He never street raced.
Oh, then it was Cricket.
He never street raced.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Basically, all the fast street racers were in Dallas.
Yeah.
Buckmaster, Corey
But
Bullock.
here in town, who are the guys that are bringing that in the no prep? What cars? What are the names? I know Sievert. I know you.
Here,
Alvarado raced a bunch.
Syntex,
Alvarado,
yeah. I seen John getting back out there. Yeah, Alvarado.
He only started coming back around.
But
who like? So this is like 2016 maybe.
Yeah.
When you like started
here
hitting
locally.
Yeah, locally.
So a guy named Jimmy. Y'all probably don't know. He's got a red 80s, 90s, had a big block in it. He was killing everybody.
Okay.
The Smiths, Richie, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, Richard.
Those guys, yeah.
They were here.
Done them since they were kids.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I mean, we were basically building what we have now here in Austin.
Yeah.
And so, is that group still?
It's still
tight?
strong, yeah.
Got stronger, probably.
Have you guys recruited more to make an actual 5-1-12 crew like they have it in the 405 where you're fighting to get into like a
we're not that big.
Austin doesn't have.
We've
really the only one from Austin that races.
Well, we got Sleeper, Steve Tyler.
Well, there's Steve. Yeah, he's got the second gen.
The purple, yeah.
Yeah, the second gen Camaro. So yeah, he's.
There's
who
just
else is in your clique now? Who like you, Steven? I've seen a few others maybe.
The Crazy Horse guy with the diesel truck, Frog People with the Jet slow
right?
mod. He's in Colleen.
Okay.
He's got just a big mountain motor and like a Beretta.
Man, that's big time, hey, yeah.
Matthew Tomato.
Matthew,
a bunch of people y'all don't know probably.
Yeah. No, that's the whole thing. That's why we were like, man, we need to just get these guys to come on. That way we.
Well, I've seen Matt. I don't know Matthew, but I've seen him. He's been on Street Outlaws, right? He does some Memphis stuff, but
yeah,
he's got a bunch of stuff. I don't know what he's got. He's got a
okay. So you start running. So you start running. You start realizing what it takes.
But that's what my point was. Like, when we started comparing ourselves, we were looking at Fort Worth, Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Fort Worth really, because like when I was growing up with him, we all went to Houston or San Antonio. You look at Houston or San Antonio now, it's fucking dead. There's
there's nothing there. It's dead. Yeah.
They do races.
Big time in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Dallas area. Right?
Yeah, and even then, right now, it's hit or miss. But that's where, when I was growing up, all the fast cars were in Fort Worth. If you wanted to be fast, you had to go to Fort Worth and street race.
Damn.
Well, tell them about when you decided to go from the 408 and the nitrous, and you said "fuck that" and went turbo.
Yeah,
well, I see you guys. That's what
we heard.
That's when you started getting fast.
How long has it been that you switched?
It's been like a year and a half, maybe.
Learning curve.
About a year.
Learning curve.
Big time.
Was it a game changer for you, or you still?
Yeah. So the difference though in nitrous and turbo, because you're a nitrous guy.
Nitrous hits hard. Like the turbos, you can. I mean.
It's testing.
Yeah.
So like I could take my car out right now and make 5 test hits, and not even pull the plug.
I know that's the thing.
Nitrous,
you better have
a lot of bottles, a lot of race fuel.
That's the thing. I mean, that is true. Like I said, turbos, you could just spin it and you could drive it back. Yeah. I'm driving it back. I mean,
that's the real game changer and changing. It's
before
hard.
he got rid of the 408 though, he went and run in San Antonio a big jump. 6.0 index class, remember that?
Yeah.
He won second in that, right?
Yeah, red lit in the finals.
Red lit in the finals, and that's when he started realizing that he was in for the long haul.
But then San Antonio started doing all that backtrack racing, and I missed that. They closed down or whatever.
Yeah, that was we talked about it yesterday with Chris about the end of the big end race, big end race.
Didn't that guy pass away or something like that? I think that's what happened.
Well, the owner, he passed away, but his wife still owned it, and they sold out, right? They sold out. Yeah, they sold out. They got in the parking lot now. I don't know, but yeah, San Antonio, man, back. Little push days Friday night
when they opened up.
When they opened up '99, man, Friday night we used to work, get off work and go to San Antonio. Man, it was the shit. Fight the traffic, but anyway, so now you have.
I did a lot of racing with a 408 nitrous car. We did backtrack San Antonio a lot. We street raced in Austin a lot. I used to do a bunch of no trailer in Fort Worth.
2-stage, just
just one kit. And
one kit.
When you learn the progressor.
Okay.
But he had a nitrous outlet. He had the cone.
Yeah, the Stinger.
Stinger 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Stinger 3.
Those are badass.
Those are nice. So now, going from let's just get your opinion, like from nitrous to turbo. What's the comparison in your opinion?
Like I said, man,
power,
the maintenance,
you don't have to do a lot of
the testing. So basically, now what wins races or gets you closer to winning races is testing, seat time.
Yep.
Oh yeah, all that shit.
Yeah.
So in a turbo car, say we go out Wednesday night and we test till 3 a.m. Well, all I got to bring is gas with me, and use this E85 at the pump. When I was doing no trailer races on C16 and fucking nitrous. How much is C16?
C16 is probably now like shit. 18,
$20.
So
18,
I was calling Dinkle every fucking week. I need another drum of C16. I need another.
And nitrous.
Oh, I need a mother bottle.
I need a fill.
He's like, God damn, you just fucking went.
I hear you.
Hey,
so that's a key
mother
element
bottles
there.
and
That's a key element there. So yeah, you're running E85. E85 is basically what pump gas costs.
VP
it's a cooler charge. Yeah, the VP
it used
ratio.
to be like $1.50 when I switched.
Yeah.
Now it's $3. Whatever.
Well, it's still cheaper than
That's better than
Q or
$20
C. Yeah.
For,
It used to be. I used to pay like $16 a gallon.
Yep.
To go fucking street race.
Yeah. So that's a good point, because like I said,
I remember when
that
it
does
was
make
just
a difference.
$7.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
So that does make a big difference. Then you got the maintenance. You don't have to check plugs. You can drive it back to the trailer. You can drive
Heat
it
your
fucking all
bottle
night.
up.
Yeah, you don't.
All the bull.
When it's cold, when it's hot, cool
Yeah.
it down.
No,
take it out,
that's a very good point.
put
So
it in.
that's the main
10
thing.
bottles with you.
But what about like the power? I mean, I know nitrous, you're getting a harder hit, but now
see, I've
you can
seen
control it a lot more better now.
But there's till this day, you go to a track, there's nitrous guys flying with turbo guys.
No, that I hear you. No, you're right. The way they got it set up, and they can hit hard. They can 60 foot a turbo
Yeah.
car.
What size turbo you running?
It's a 88 104.
Okay.
It's nothing special. It's a 5.3 cookie cut, fucking
Is it
same
like
shit
the-
everybody has.
Well, hell, we were
Some
talking.
racing DS1 or you
No, it's a Bork Warner.
Warner.
330 cubic inch, I think. When you do the math.
It's a 5.3.
5.3,
Yeah.
325.
It really, man, it doesn't matter nowadays. Like what you have is how you go put it down.
Yeah, that's
Right.
it. That's the thing.
And then how you put it down is how much testing you did.
Right. I would agree with you on that. Like I said, like
That's
seat time.
that's the hard part.
Are you running an air intercooler or are you running the water?
It's all air. When I got through with nitrous, I was like, I don't want water. I don't want
Yeah,
jugs.
that's a lot
I
of
don't
ma-
want
that's just
ice.
more maintenance.
You want maintenance.
Yeah.
no more.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what I've been hearing. Everybody says like just
Yeah, you gotta have a fucking
simple
100
is easier,
bags of
cheaper.
ice.
I mean, we're at different times, so everything's a lot more expensive. But
I wish they had draggies back in the day when they thought they were flying. The draggies, the heartbreaker.
what is that? What is that?
So the little GPS we
The
use
Dragon,
to tell
yeah,
you how
can-
fast you're
that,
going.
I heard that
Yeah.
company's out of Austin,
Yeah.
I think. But
Well, they had one back then, but it was like
Nah.
you'd laugh at it, man. It's like it was like a damn.
yeah, the Dragon, man, you can
Standard.
put it on. It's pretty accurate.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, it
right.
tells you what this is my ET. And bam,
That
bam,
sucks. You make a pass, you're like, I was flying. You look at it, and you're like, oh no, no.
Yeah, I've heard a bunch of good things about that. So, on your preference of prep, no prep, what's your preference?
Street or track?
Whatever. I mean,
So you're doing both. Which
I mean,
which
I know you do both, but like I said, do you prefer a track that's prep, or do you
I'm
prefer a street that's not prep?
So like, Little River,
Yeah.
like the backtrack stuff. That's cool because not everybody's gonna get down that.
Yeah.
If you go to the starting line on Little River, you're gonna have fast cars show up.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of money involved in those because I mean, there's a lot
It's
of,
all about car count.
Well, they moved the concrete up, remember? And
Yeah,
and
they
they were
got
racing
the-
from there.
Yeah, they got 100 foot of concrete path now. And like I said, on no prep stuff, you can make 3 or 4 passes of cars go down, then the track's gonna hook.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just a
Like
matter
if
of
we
like-
go to we do a no prep at Little River, by the time first round's over,
Yeah, it's
a
shaky.
fast car is gonna
Yeah,
whoever it's gonna start being like a track. Basically.
right. Yeah, it's gonna put some rubber
Yeah.
down.
So it's always it's always funner. It's
But yeah, you made a good point. Like I said,
who's gonna win?
you don't matter what kind of power you have. It's just a matter how you put it down and
So
how you
that's-
drive and stuff.
That's why we prefer to go to the street and go hang out. I don't say a shit road, but
it equals out the field.
It's the real, yeah.
Equals out the playing field.
So I always ask some of you guys. So what's your procedure like when you go to the line? You're a nitrous guy, not you're a turbo guy, but so you're a nitrous guy. You go to the lineup. What are you thinking? Are you gonna who's gonna go in first? Do you like to go in first? Do you like to go in second? When you're
Man, so it depends on
What's
am
your
I
strategy?
racing at home? Am I racing against? Are we out of town? Who's flagging? Who am I racing? A nitrous car, turbo car? Like we make all those decisions like on the fly, in the moment. It's hard, man.
So you just kind of roll with it at that.
Some guys will try to like, you don't know.
Yeah. So
I'm going second, but see, also when I pull up, I'll probably just start getting on it if I know who the flagger is when he walks and turns around. Like it's not like a tree. We're in the street. I'll just fucking get on it and wait, or it's one of those in the moment feels. There's no. I'd rather be ready than not ready.
Gotcha.
And in my experience going with him, I think Limpy was the best starter. Everybody was on the same page, and nitros and turbos, and there wasn't a lot of nitrous people letting the turbo guys spool up forever like we used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
But that's when Limpy runs the races. He had these deals on Sundays. I went with him one time, and we get at Dallas like 2 a.m. What are we doing here? Let's go to bed. I'm tired. No, we're gonna do some testing. We're gonna do what?
Oh yeah, he ain't been back since.
Then we pull up and I go, who are all these motherfuckers? He goes, they're all testing, Dad. They're gonna run for some money. It's 3 a.m. I'm tired.
We woke up at 7
a.m. We left the river and racing, and Ryan beat him in that day. Ryan Mitchell. And then we go out there, and sure he shows up later, and the guys from JJ Beetlejuice is there, and he ends up winning the whole thing. But he called it the Sunday. You had to drive to the place, and then you race. So I followed.
So no trailers are real big for me because you talk about prep, no prep.
Yeah.
Right.
We go to a prep track. My car ain't set up for that.
Right.
We go to a no trailer. No trailer is Fort Worth holds it on. It used to be Limpy and this dude Tricky D. You get there at 7 a.m. is driver's meeting, and Calabrese used to go with me a lot. I took him once. He ain't never come back. You get there at 7 a.m. Fort Worth. That's a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
So
they don't tell you where you're going.
Yeah,
they tell you.
You get in the parking lot. I unload the car off the trailer, and we might drive 30 miles this way, 40 miles this way. You get to the spot. So to me, that eliminates all the cars. No alternators, no radiators. You can't make the drive. So. Street car.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a true.
So you get there, you race, cops come, you can't get on the trailer. You're gonna drive to the next spot.
You drive the spot.
Get fuel up, whatever.
And this is why.
That's what got me
interviewing. Well, this is why we're not interviewing, but this is why we're doing this talk show, because something like this, it's kind of difficult to put into a track unless the track knows that this is what you guys are looking for, because this is what eliminates what we're known as, pops, the squirrels. You know what I mean? We call them squirrels. What do y'all call it today? These little dudes that just kind of show up and jack shit up. I don't know what the word is for, but back then it was called squirrels. And you still have you got track squirrels, and they're gonna ruin something that you thought was gonna go your way, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, I don't like this no more. And you go back to, like what Limpy and all these guys are doing, and you kind of liked it because it's an excitement. You get there and you don't know where you're going to be at. You don't know what the street looks like. You don't know who's going to show up.
No.
And I think it's the best.
It just makes everyone race their car on the given road.
Exactly.
Because there's also races they'll put on in Fort Worth that they'll let the fast cars come out and they don't got to drive, and when you sign up for that, you know what you're getting into.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that I like the way it equals out the playing field, like I said.
Did you know that was going on?
Well, I've heard it, but I did not. Honestly, I did not.
It's a game changer. This is modern racing.
Here's the one thing I think that could happen, that what he's talking about would eliminate that. The river did something when they put that concrete out in the middle.
Yeah.
And when I went to Houston and raced, they made us drive a 50-mile drive or 30-mile drive around the ocean. It was Freddie Stills, Crash of the Titans. I ran the 12-0 thing. On the motor. Yeah. But the river has a chance to do something like that. Say you leave the river.
I don't know why the river isn't doing a race every month right now.
Listen, I'm just saying, you leave the track and you go drive, down to that store and drive back, and then you race from the concrete. So that would be perfect because Virgin. That would be ideal, and I thought that.
And they got it's not like a busy highway. It's like bam, bam.
Yeah, we've talked about it, man. We don't understand. Like Tomatoes putting on races, backtracks.
Yeah.
And then Sievert's always trying to put on races, and I'm like, why are we not doing a race every month here? Like, I don't get it.
And then you drive down to the store, remember the store, and you drive back. That's plenty. That eliminates everybody.
There's some really badass ideas that are coming out of you guys. Like, we're talking to Chris, and Chris goes, I brought this big TV that does playback. You know, you don't even have to walk or ask questions as to who won. You can just sit there and you can just watch the whole damn thing. I mean, that's a big change.
Well, when they did the concrete, they had the camera down there, and you could go down there and ask to see it. The girls were really nice.
Well, I don't know if y'all ever saw Texas Punisher. That's what me and Sleeper put on. Mm-hmm. Sleeper Steve Tyler. We did 2 of them, and then he had a baby, which you know, life happens.
Right.
So we were doing that, and the only reason we did that is because street stuff. We do a lot of street stuff. But to get all the guys together at one track on the shitty back surface, we don't got to worry about moving spots, big car count, big payout. That was the goal.
Yeah. Well, tell them about the one you just won recently.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah. You were giving thanks to Marlboro and
Budweiser.
That's what kept me racing some nights.
Real right there, man.
Yeah, those long nights, man. I mean, I'm not drinking and driving, but you know, fuck.
I mean, you got to celebrate, but
I was.
You're on the passenger seat.
I was always fine. I drank beer, and now if I drank like I drink this, it'd be different. But I drink beer.
So how was that?
Tell them about that race.
Tell them about that race.
So Calabrese and Steve Tyler and Calabrese throw on a quick race because we haven't had a race since New Year's. Right now, I think in Austin, in the surrounding areas, we had the biggest car count ever on the street in New Year's. We used to have this road, concrete road, or whatever. So 9 months later, we have this race, and Sleeper puts it on 3 days. We get 15 cars, $300 buy-in. So yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And me and Sleeper were testing Friday. We stayed up all night, testing, and then here comes race night, and Calabrese's like, I fuck y'all up. We're going to a virgin road none of y'all been on. I'm like, there it is.
That's the shit right
like,
there.
That's our game, you know. That's what we test for.
He drives around and looks for places. That's what Chris does.
He goes scouts.
So he's found a bunch of them. They got a great one.
He's the big chief of Syntex.
They got one that's
So
really
the guys that put in this work, I've heard word from, I could tell you names up north, but you wouldn't know them.
Yeah.
They go sit at spots, see when the sprinklers come on, see what the traffic looks like, see when the security leaves. Like, they're for real. They'll sit up all night. They'll just stay up all night.
Security. They hire security.
I guarantee
it's
you
gotta
they
be,
got
if
to.
not, you get, you have for the longest,
That's what the extra money's for. Is you're paying the security.
So back then, I mean, we got to a spot at Samsung, and if we got run off there, there was no internet group chat. Hey,
exactly. Yeah.
No, none of that.
It wasn't like
not
that.
Organized at all.
When we were at Decker, we had it was my buddy. He was the flashlight guy. Or actually, he was just the finger guy, right?
Yeah, y'all.
But
he had
his walkie-talkie. And you can overhear the conversation. So he'd radio in. He's like, "We got to go. They're coming." And that was it. That's all we had back then. But then even they got smart, and now they got their own private network, so you can't hear of any of their.
So nowadays, basically, we pay for security.
Yeah.
A guy, say there's 2 entrances. Someone sits down at one entrance, someone sits down at the other entrance, and they sit there all night.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
And what's crazy, you think about an Uber, a Lyft, or whatever the food thing is. People drive food around. Well, this person's getting paid to sit in a parking lot, play on their phone, and be like, "Hey, there's a car coming." Like, this is it.
There you go.
It's worth it.
And this is and the reason why I think this works is because, like I said, if drag strips do not adapt to the new style of stuff that's going to go on, they're going to lose out. They're going to lose out on the payouts. They're going to lose out on the spectation, all that. This is always going to carry on. Now, there's always been, those squirrels that screw everything up, and it's never been nowhere near any of these type of events. It's always been something stupid that happened downtown, and there it is. For anybody listening, it's not to, don't confuse it with that shit that you hear that some guy was just doing something.
Anybody
stupid.
in racing understands that.
Yeah,
we all know.
Yeah.
Some idiots in down there in his little 240Z think he's bad or something. I did racing a truck.
So there's been a lot of times we're in Dallas and the cops are rolling deep, deep. And once they realize, like, we're not doing donuts, no one's drinking, no one's partying.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, y'all are set up. And they're like, y'all just got to leave.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's how it was even back then.
Well, in the big days, our favorite thing was when the train came at the Decker
Decker
Lake,
Lake.
it was race on, and man, we got it.
Oh,
If that
you
train
knew
coming,
that.
it was a big
It was
long one.
blockading
We
them.
were fucking racing and racing and racing and racing, and that was like, oh, the train's here.
That's
and remember
it.
how the big long ones they go up through?
Yeah, like man, we get a couple races in, bam, bam,
a couple
bam.
hell. But
There's 2 spots we have in Austin where the cops will sit there and hang out with us.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you the roads, but
No.
Really?
I mean, this is like I said, it's underground for a reason.
they've
it's
told us
underground for a
though, they're like,
reason.
we got more shit going on. They're like,
Right.
y'all gonna kill each other. You're gonna kill each other on this 2-lane road. Like,
Yeah,
we
you're not
got-
out there
we got this-
murdering anybody. Or,
No.
Well, that's gonna happen at a drag strip either way. I mean, you're going down a damn lane, 2 cars next to each other, and anything can happen. You can roll it. You can hit the concrete. I mean,
didn't Cricket wreck
don't matter.
at the last one, or what was the guy that went off at the river that time? Went off to the right over the guardrail.
Oh, Biddle.
Biddle.
But
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a wreck. You can have wreck anywhere.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
So-
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but anyway, everybody
Anything can
understand.
happen, yeah.
What we're showing here, and you know, we're doing is just
It's big.
the
It's underground.
competition
and it's
side of
big.
it,
Yeah,
and
competition side.
and if a track wants to hear this and say, man, we think we know what you guys like, we might be able to do something. Well, that's great.
I
That's
think
great.
the river
Let's
could do
it.
something, what I talked about earlier. I really do. I mean, that'd be ideal. Then eliminate the race cars that everybody dominates. And then they had the problem with the 4-wheel drive one, the little buggy.
Oh yeah.
That thing was
And-
beating everybody.
Yeah,
They
he
won
won like 2
Drive,
back to
yeah.
back.
So we welcome 4-wheel drive because we haven't really seen an advantage. I mean, you test it a lot. You have a chance against 4-wheel drive. It's
Yeah.
tough, but it only gonna make you
Lightweight,
better.
Yeah. So, Greg, will you come back, man? If this was to change at a track?
No.
He ain't coming back.
You're
I said it right up.
You're done retired.
No.
You know,
I
behind
might
No.
take the 55 to like the nostalgia race,
Yeah, yeah.
or
Yeah.
I'll let him drive it, or if they have another race, I might. But he hit it on me. I mean, I'm looking at 20. I got 5 gallons of C16 I've been sitting on. And I got like 3 full bottles. That's good for one race. Or
It's got to be that perfect.
can't
Hold on.
afford it.
that one session.
Hold on. If someone pisses me off,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
I go, okay.
Pops
Stir the
are
pot.
I got a set of slicks, I
Yeah.
got some
Oh,
gas,
God.
and I got some bottles.
Just
You
stir the
come back
pot up.
as king of the fairs. You come back as Dr.
Fuck
Michael.
them all. But no, I'm pretty much done. He's racing.
Yeah.
If he wasn't going 3 hours away, when they race the river, I go every time. But the last time I went, him and my ex-wife, his mom went, and it was like midnight, and I had my other wife with me too.
It was
And
little
then-
hitters, I think.
And it was they're not
last
even
one.
barely
Oh, yeah.
started, and we all looked at Astin, and I said, "Y'all just go." And I said, "Why don't you call me about 3 or text me about 5 in the morning?" He texted me.
What
Yeah.
did you think when I called you on Messenger and I said, "Hey, come out here, let's talk"? What ran across your mind?
So at first I was like, I knew who you were a little bit, and then I was like, I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know he was involved.
Yeah.
And then when I asked you, and you started dropping names and stories about him, I was like, all right, this motherfucker's been
For
around.
real?
Well, when he said Buck,
Yeah,
I had
you're like,
no
"There's another
idea.
Buck." Yeah, there's another Buck.
I said I had no idea because I knew another Buck, white dude, talking, and we've known him forever.
Oh,
This
yeah.
guy used to race with us a long time
Yeah,
ago.
it was back in the 90s.
Yeah,
man.
I told Buck, I said, hey, when we take a photo and we open this shit up, I said, I want your car behind those damn chairs. I said, because when they see that car, somebody's gonna say, "Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
that
man.
guy."
And what's
He's
funny
got
is we
two
were
times."
talking about you and on the way here because
Yeah.
we didn't know it was you.
Is that right?
And something came up, and I said, "Oh yeah, he had the white Camaro."
Yeah.
I said, "I saw him before COVID." And he goes,
Yeah, that was the
"Yeah."
last time we probably, like I said, it was probably every bit of 17 was the last time I had it. I think that might
And
have
I
been the last
said,
time
I
I
think
seen
him
you.
and his dad were there, and some
Yeah.
other dudes with him that I know.
Yeah.
I seen you in Taylor.
Yeah, we seen you at the car show there a few times, and like I said, I've known Greg for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I came about when street racing was kicking it hard at Little River. Like they used to have the street nights twice a night, and that's what got me going.
Yeah, and see, and I was a
Yeah,
young guy
and-
when I knew him.
Yeah.
So he didn't know me because I didn't
Yeah.
interfere with the big.
But
with the
but
big
your
time-
car,
big
the
dogs, you know.
55, was always like.
Yeah.
I've always remembered that car because my dad had a black 55 too. But yeah, the black 55 always stands out. We always
Yeah.
talk about American Graffiti. That was like 73 when that movie came out, and black 55. That was always the
If
car.
I
Man.
could
That
have
was always the fucking
been
car. for me.
smart and like kept a journal, Yeah. Well, I'm pretty smart about what some of the stories I got and told you. I mean, I could tell you some more, but I would have been and take pictures. See, back then, nobody took pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't have a video, but nobody really took pictures of anything either.
Yeah. I agree with that.
We tried to take a few when Lee Dyke would come out, but most of the time, man, nobody was going to pull out a damn camera. Hold on.
No, you had that big old camera that came out with the
VHS.
VHS. Remember that one came out?
Had a side pouch and shit. Yeah,
I had one of those.
The last time that some real cool street racing came out was Lee Dyke had put like a 632 in his car.
The Nova?
Yeah, big ass big block. He put it in there, and it was like one of those crate motors that just come out.
I think it was a 575.
It was something.
It wasn't that big.
Yeah, it was big.
I don't think they made mountain motors back then.
So it was like a 570 something.
Because it was a 502 first, and then they made the 575. I think that was the 575.
Okay. Well,
he was the first to have everything back in the day.
Yeah, he really was. He would always. I mean, for a long time, it was talk about the type of Brodix heads he was even using on his.
And Brodix was like way ahead of everybody.
Back in that day, yeah.
Yeah, so we raced out there. The buddy of ours, Hillbilly El Camino, he put, Corey Menchaca, he put his big block in it, and it was a big block rotor motor. And but right before he did that, just a race didn't happen, and Lee Dykes goes, "Come on, man, let's go make a run." And Billy Bryan, he's like, "Man, I've been waiting for this all my life."
Was he in El Camino?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he goes, "Man, I've been waiting this all my life. I'm gonna race this is my only chance." and Lee Dykes had just out of nowhere, being relaxed, he goes, "I'll give you 10 car lengths."
Damn.
And
big
Brian's
time.
like, "Okay, we're on." And so we all took off, and
Did y'all race on Manchac?
Manchac.
Yeah, where the cop used to come out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Even that motherfucker pulled me over with another story. So anyway, he gets out way out there, and we're staring at him. We're at the end of the top end, and Lee takes off. I mean, both cars take off, right? 10 spread. And for a while there, it looks like Lee's not going to catch him. And this is going to be a
quarter mile.
If this damn car does not pass this El Camino,
mile,
and it's got a buck catcher just like Chris's Monte Carlo, and it's like it's open, and he's coming, and Lee does not look like he's catching him. But at the very end, man, he just puts a bumper on him
with a sick kid on.
And he's like, "Holy shit!" He goes, "Man, I didn't think I was gonna I pass you, man. You really." And that was the last time that a real race went on besides what you did at Samsung. And then it was dead, and next thing you know, the Street Outlaw shit comes out, and then boom, here we are now, and now it's you.
Well, what's crazy is we never went north back then.
Yeah. With
him, we went to San Antonio and Houston. So all the Dallas guys, they were doing their thing
back in that time.
They were doing their thing hard. That's why they all got on the show and Limpy and all and Boosted GT.
Well, that's
and
where Boosted originated from.
They were doing their thing real hard, and we just went south.
Yeah.
But
you guys, you John, his brother, I saw y'all at San Antonio. I mean, I came back in and I was just kind of looking at stuff, and clearly the stuff was much quicker, and I'd never seen a street car go on the bumper. And I mean, like the whole night it was like 840s, 860s, and at the very last minute, the cars really go on the bumper. And it's I don't know if it's you guys are just trying to go for a high 8 or something, but it's like, God dang, how do they? I mean, they just boom, air, and gone. And that was the first time that I ever went to a track, and I realized that these were still street cars. It's just the name of the game was a bigger, better motor. Maybe it was the nitrous, I don't know, but it was not definitely like the motor that you have in your 55 that you haven't changed cast iron heads or anything like that. But you guys did it.
What year? Did you run in the little pooch in San Antonio?
Oh yeah,
yes.
I ran. I got a video with me and you running together, by the way. Yeah.
But hold on, what I'm saying, do you remember what year that was?
That was probably like
90, 95, 97, 98.
I want to say 01. I want to say because the track didn't open up till 99.
Yeah. Okay.
So
and
it
that's
was like,
when the guy owned it. What's his name? Richard or whatever. And got caught playing poker.
He got caught playing poker. He went on vacation too.
Did he?
Zampese.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so it was like 01 and That was hit, man. That was fun, man. Get off work Friday, haul ass.
The car I saw back then was Ralph, the green Mustang, and John Dingle's brother, the gray charcoal gray Mustang.
That was Brad.
They both stood them up on the damn bumper and they flew. And then I go look at their motors, and I'm like, really, Cobra jet heads or something? It's something in the motor, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, like even like the little Pooch, I mean, which was to us, you were running like 950, 10.0. Yeah. That's what it was.
But we were running quarter mile then.
That was quarter mile. That was quarter mile. Yeah,
because I remember we changed in 200003. Everybody started running 8 mile.
Yeah. Then we started going to Denton.
The FSTA, Fastest Street Cars of America.
Oh yeah,
or Houston.
FSTA.
Because what HMP was only 8th mile back then.
Yeah, and actually Sealy turned to Navasota did, and all of them were.
Dude, tell us some story about Navasota, because I got a few stories about Navasota, man.
Went to Navasota my first time.
That was an outlaw track, boy. That was outlaw, That was outlaw, buddy.
They had plywood bolted up on the side
for noise barrier or some shit. Yeah.
Cheater Chips in his Chevelle. I'm the first time I've ever been there. I'd already been racing my Nova. I'd been in the FST for a while. Never been to that track. He goes, bop, bop, bop. He hits the wall sideways, slides down, bop, bop, and still wins. I'm like, oh my God. So I make a pass, but they wouldn't put any water down. Remember that, Astin?
Oh,
and then they put water down, and then I don't make a decent pass. We're qualified or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I finally get to make a pass, and I make a pass, and I get put out, which was fine. Car was doing what it's supposed to do. But I remember the return road was fucking horrible.
Dude, that was scary, man. It had ball joints out of it.
I mean, you were like, you had a 4-wheel drive, and I'm like, they were always telling me, be careful, come out. I'm like, okay, whatever. No, it was like
it was horrible. Like knock your ball joints out, man. Because at the 8 mile, when the 8 mile would come, it'll like go down. It's like one lane.
You had to turn real quick.
And there was like trees of like a creek or something. You had to make a right, and then the return roll was like.
So if you've lost the race, you got to put the brakes on.
Dude,
you got to follow.
And there was no lights down there. It was dark.
So you follow this little shitty ass road, big old ditches. Yeah, so I hated Navasota.
So Cheetah Chip got his name for grinding the W. That was.
Yeah, he got caught cheating. He had a W on his deal.
Yep.
And, so we're in Houston when that race I raced against Marlboro, man. He barely beat me. And everybody in Houston's freaking out about my car. Ladder bar, I got a little old style hand
slapper bar.
Ladder
bar. Slapper
bar. But it's handmade. I made it. Anyway, long story short, this car, unbelievable. Now I'm freaking out. No cage. So they had that right lane we said that looked like an HRA lane, and they put me in the other lane, of course.
Yeah.
And we opened the hood of my car, and we were going to run for 300.
Whoa.
And the minute I opened my hood, they go, let's go for 5. Because they saw my cast iron heads. Am I lying? They go, let's run for 5. I was like, and so Skinny's with me.
Like, bring it on.
Charles is with me, and they come up with the money. Darren with that, so we come up with the extra $200, and that's when I went sideways. And
back then, stipulations or stips, whatever you want to call them, we didn't talk about none of that.
Oh yeah.
We were just like, we're gonna race here for this much money.
Yeah. Behind the nudie bar.
And all of a sudden he's prepping. He's got the fucking sprayer, like the ant killer sprayer out there.
Yeah,
and I still left with him.
Yeah.
Still left with him, but I got got out of the deal and got the gravel and went.
That's when you know how hardcore racing is in a different fucking city.
Yeah.
They were doing that shit in Dallas. We just didn't know. And like we're doing like Austin. Austin's small. It still is if you ask a lot of people.
I asked the question once. How come nobody ever brings BHT? Oh, that's just a track thing. That's what I was told back then.
A lot of people prep now.
Back when we used to run, back when this street, we had to run DOTs, and we used to go out and spray the tires. You do a little dry hop, and because back then the suspension ain't like what it is now.
Oh, you had that little bottle that was real sticky. Yeah, you had the rag, and you get it on your hands, and you kind of put a little bit down. You do the little, and then you wouldn't even do a burnout.
Yeah,
you dry hop.
Just a dry hop.
Remember that?
That's what we used to do. We used to do that.
Remember that?
Oh yeah.
You didn't do a burnout.
No, you just roll. You hit it.
I don't even know.
I mean, nowadays it's changed.
What's your procedure? So what do you do now for the?
Nowadays, you got to have a crew.
Yeah.
Like back then, they had no crew.
No, man,
I bet you they didn't back up in their fucking marks at all.
No,
they were just fucking put me where I'm at. When I see the arm drop, I'm out.
When I went to FSTA and racing, nobody helped me. I didn't.
You're on a track though.
Right. I would say, "Do you want to?" No, I got this.
Yeah.
I had it down racing.
The street racing now, It's like the procedures, the crew. You'll see.
You gotta have.
How bad is it if they do? How bad is it if even you're off on your own your marks? I mean, how bad is it gonna? How bad is it gonna be?
You're fucked.
Yeah,
You're fucked.
Even if the previous marks are still there, you want to be in yours where it's still warm,
right?
Yeah, traction's hot.
And then like we do. So this last race we had that I got lucky and won, we did an all water burnout.
Oh.
And we even had a guy who came from up north. He's like, I've been practicing on prep, and it's different.
Yeah.
Water burnout. Water burnout won't fucking lay the rubber down. Almost depends on where you're at. Prep will lay a patch down.
Well, that's like when you talk about when like.
And that's coming off your tire.
Well, it eats the tire up, so it lays rubber down.
Yeah, and like people like doing mix, like they do like the pimp juice. That's mixed with like.
What do you make when you start mixing a lot on the same road?
Yeah, it makes it.
It'll get all greasy.
Greasy, yeah. You got to have that right mix. Depending.
Well, they'll stop doing that. And they'll make you start putting water down.
That's good. That's the way it should, because that's the way we did it back. There was no fucking traction compound. Yeah. But again, like to your point, the race you ran was a water burnout.
So how many tires do you go through in a
dude?
Season? There's no season, but in a given month.
Yeah, you go
year
round.
If you're a serious racer, 12 passes.
There goes your tires.
$700, 12 passes, chunk them.
I went.
They're good for my car.
I went to go get some.
Again, let me handle them over here.
Some dummy tires for my car. I went to Chris Seaver and said, "Hey man, you got something?" He goes, "Yeah, I just bought these, man. They're somewhat good." I'm like, "They're fucking almost bald, dude. You just barely bought them." And he's like, "Yeah, you can get a couple of
that
passes."
asphalt will eat them bitches.
Yeah, that too.
Shit.
But
it ain't about the tread on them too. It's about sidewall.
Yeah,
the sidewall
stiff. Or soft, do you prefer stiff? Or
no, the softer the better, but they run out quicker.
Yeah,
they wear out real quick.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Have you done a drag radial tire yet, or not?
No, the car doesn't work that well on those.
Not on the street. If you go to track, radials are way faster.
Yeah. Well, they feel good. I've always known because I ran those way early on, and everybody was like, "Why are you running that shit?" Instead of because I don't have to take them off. I can just drive around. And one day I got caught in the rain, and I'm like, not good.
No, you ain't gonna make it in the rain.
That definitely did not work.
I think most of the people are running Hoosiers, pretty much. They're soft side and they're soft. They don't last long like the kind we run.
Yeah,
29.
I remember I used to run Hoosier Quick Times, and they always had like a decent sidewall, but it depends on what compound you get. I guess that's pretty much the main thing on Hoosiers. But I do see a lot of street guys running Hoosiers.
It's all about surface.
I learned something too just watching TV with the JJ and them. Those guys are running 5.5, 6 pounds of pressure on the street. I mean, in a car, you've been in a car
with the big tire.
Say, hold on,
with the big tire.
Have you ever been in a car with that much air pressure on the big end and it starts walking? That's a spooky feeling, folks. Now, if it's doing this, you're okay, but when it starts driving the front, you're in trouble.
When it's rolling.
And,
that ain't fun.
10 or 9 is about it for me.
How many wrecks have JJ and them been in?
Exactly.
But
old Heavy caught hell. He'd be catching hell in that.
But what I'm saying is I think when you're running
those cars are fast though.
Yeah. You're running 8 pounds and shit.
So when they came to Little River, me and my buddy Sleeper, we took notes.
Yeah.
How far is that motor? How far is that motor pushed back? Yeah, how high is the centerline crank on that motor? There's a lot of shit you.
That's a secret.
You just look at you beat a bunch of people that.
You just look at a car from the outside. You're like, yeah, it's just a race car. Yeah. Go look how far it's pushed back. How high.
Yeah. Where the motor's placed, because you got the more because radio nose weight and no prep nose weight.
What are you racing on? Where are we going?
So they were down to 5 cars at that race he's talking about. And I'm going to say...
he's talking about a long time ago.
At the river, JJ's race. He's still in, and there's a bye. Well, they let one of the little kids pick the number, and the kid's looking down in the deal and picks the bye for one of the guys, and he has to run the Nova.
Trisha, the blue
Nova.
The Lee.
Lee Roberts.
Lee Roberts.
So he has to run Lee Roberts. But the kid picked the buyout, so And I was going to say something, but I've been drinking, and I'm at the start line. I'm not in the race.
Crazy.
But I saw it. It happened, and I was like, "Wow! Did you see that?" And Ashley goes, "I don't care, Dad. I don't care. I'm going to run.
I'm going to work."
I got this far.
How much they paying you, son? How much they pay you, son, to pull that car?
I don't care.
Well, man,
Well, like I said, that's cool.
Time does fly.
You know what? Also, I think we might need to do another episode with them.
We're gonna have to do part 2
because there's probably so much more we can probably talk about.
I'm telling you, every time that we
I learn something new every time.
You learn something. Yeah, we're learning something new, and more questions come up. and so it's like the recording gets a little bit
whatever
longer,
y'all want to do. We should have
longer.
recorded him before he got here. You could.
I know, man. We were going. I should have. Yeah.
Well, I was
we
trying
went
to get
a
a
bunch
little. I was
of stuff.
trying to get a little happy, so I went and bought a Monster Energy drink on the way back over here because you know.
Well, once you started getting him going, you should have hit fucking play.
I know, man. Because right when we sat down, boy, it was already like, bam. Oh,
Damn,
hold
I
on,
missed
man.
some.
But no. But yeah, we're gonna have to do it again, man. Because like I said, we got a whole bunch more
You
episodes. We got a
think
lot more
anybody will
people
be listening to this?
What's that?
Yeah, we actually the first. So here's the thing.
I'm just asking.
No,
we've got.
He's so far out of the racing scene. That's why he's asking.
Yeah, no. So
he plays in a band.
There's a lot of people that are seeing it.
Yeah.
But you know how you are. I know how I am. We're not gonna go and hit like, but I can tell how many.
Oh, you can see all the people who viewed it.
Oh yeah, and it's insane because it's going all over the place. But as far as people like hitting like, that's little. But when you go to the statistics, it's the thing is going up.
Yeah.
So, well, let me say one thing before we call it. Anything that I say or that I remember. Hold on.
Disclaimer.
Since from 1976, I've been racing. I told y'all I probably should have took notes. I'm almost 99% sure of the people I've beaten and haven't beaten, and if someone remembers something different than me, maybe they would refresh my memory, and there's some stuff like we haven't talked about, but to my knowledge, everything I said pretty much was what happened back in the day.
Hey man, like I said,
my memory is not that great. I'm 66 years old.
And if y'all have questions and y'all want to make a comment, feel free to go to our Facebook page, and maybe they'll read it, and then we'll come back and we'll address it.
Yeah, and then we can ask those questions again, or relay it, whatever you want to do. So
and we keep on going. You know, that's if you do some racing or whatever, or if you're gonna go to an event.
He'll be in Dallas this weekend.
For sure, come out before you head out, or come out after your race.
Yeah,
give some posts.
Like I said, we are.
Are you doing the XRP race, or are you doing?
So I got invited to Little Hitters again at.
Okay, yeah.
So you're doing.
So you're gonna go now with Sleepy and.
So I'll be fucking camp with John Dinkle, Randy, Ralph, all of them.
So I see John's got they're running the Nova, right?
Kenneth's car.
That car,
Kenneth
Wood.
James got
the Mustang that Ralph's motor's in. What color is that?
So that'll be new for me. Radio racing is different. I've been street racing.
Well, it's awesome. So we're probably gonna have Kenneth here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So we're gonna try to get Kenneth, but he said it depends on how busy he is.
His son always goes with him everywhere he goes. Him and his son, and then maybe Dinkle.
No, we're talking about Kenneth Williams.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sleepy. Yeah, we're gonna have big Sleepy tomorrow. So yeah, you're talking about Kenneth Williams. Yeah. So I know Dinkle's been tuning on that car, and they're getting the
two different people. My bad.
Yeah. So they're but yeah, we're gonna have Kenneth Williams here tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about the hood to hood. So that's gonna be that's always a good race. So we want to get with you after. We want to hear some posts. How it went and how you did.
I mean, it's a different change-up. I mean,
it's a totally different thing, right?
6.0s on trash road, I'm gonna go run on glue track. Like, got to change the whole car.
So are you gonna go down and test Thursday or Friday or anything?
Try to make Friday night.
Yeah.
And this is with the turbo setup. How many how many races have you already done with the turbo?
I can't count, dude.
The motors.
That's the benefit with nitrous.
Well, no, I'm talking about like racing opponents. I'm testing probably you can't count, but can you count
a bunch?
No, I can't count.
I'm sure you got some pad if you make some hits, like you say, testing on the street. So.
Well, we pulled the pin and there's metal.
There you go.
And I think some bearings are fixing to say, hey.
Yeah, it's too late.
Well, as long as it lasts one more couple races, right? Yeah. So. Well, cool deal, guys. Like I said, we appreciate it. We're gonna wrap it up, and I think we're gonna get with you guys again. I mean,
we'll see
there's
you.
so much.
We'll be seeing you guys soon, just like everybody else.
This was fun, man.
Man.
I'm glad we came out.
I appreciate you guys coming out, and like I said, it means a lot to us. So we're and again, it's gonna get traction. I guarantee you.
I doubt anybody cares about the old days, but
oh, trust me.
If I come again, I'll try to find those deals that Daisy Duke put out.
Yeah,
they're fun to read. I got like 9 of them. They're really fun to read.
One of our
bring out some memories.
They have the list. They recently came across the list like maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
I got all of them. I have all of them. Everybody printed.
Is that right?
He just got to find them.
Yeah. All right. We'll do that.
All right, guys, man. Well, hey, peace out, guys. Y'all have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Follow up.